7,000 retail thefts on the news repeatedly. My friends trying to turn me in, trying to get this reward money, and they're not even like trying to hide it. Statute of limitations is up on it now, so I don't care, but I was worried for years. My mother made some bad decisions with the men she brought into the home. Now, let's say she made one really bad decision. My dad, by all accounts, was a good guy. He hurt his arm one day, came home from work, pushed the screen door open. Whether it just got stuck or something, his whole arm went through the screen, cut it all the way up to his shoulder. And they put him on Percocet, you know. And I don't know if he was never exposed to an opiate before that, or if it just didn't feel whatever. She said, like, once he started taking them, it was like over for him. Like within like, I think a year, he's already doing dope. You know, my mom tries to stick with him, but she ends up leaving. And he just turns like our house into a trap house. You know, she like took us, let him stay there. And then about a year or so after, she gets a call about him he was found in the alley, beat to death, pretty much, like almost to death. They life flighted him. I still can't believe they did this, but at the time they had us go into the hospital, like the kids, I was 3 or 4 maybe. My brother was probably 7 or 8, to go say bye to him. Which is like, I still remember this. It's like a traumatic memory, and I don't understand because like he didn't look anything like himself. His head was like a pumpkin. It was
right.
Like, you know. So we go in and like I say bye to him, and I'm like scared to death because of how he looks. You know, my brother was like a little older, so I think he like basically, I don't even think I hugged him or anything. I was just like trying to get out of there. So he ends up surviving, but he went into a coma. And they thought he was going to die that night. They gave him last rites. So he was in a coma for a couple of weeks. So he comes out of the coma. I think my mother was there when he woke up. And they found out real quick that he had lost a big gap of memory, like 3 or 4 years. So he, from what he thought, he only had one child, that they were still together. And like we had a dog. I think he didn't know about the dog, you know. So he'd like lost 4 years of his life. And, the doctor's like, it'll come back, it'll take time. So I had to like get reintroduced to him, like, this is your son,
right.
Which is like weird. It's a weird thing, He comes out of it and then supposedly doesn't remember being a dope fiend, right?
Right.
You would think.
That's great.
Yeah, you would think, right?
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, so my mom's visiting him, and he's like, they thought he was paralyzed. They said he was going to be paralyzed. He'd never walk again. He had all kind of damage, but some brain damage too. They weren't sure what the extent was. So after like a week or two, he tells my mom, like, I'm in so much pain. Can you bring me in some dope? And it's like, how do you remember it? Whatever.
It started to come back.
But my mom was like, she said that was it. She said once he asked that, like, she knew it was over. He was never gonna, be who he was again.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, that changed him forever. Like his brain, he's just not the same person. Like over the years, my mom, she would try to encourage us to visit with him. He would like, he had Social Security eventually. So we would go and it just went on for like a year or two. Like one time he got arrested for pissing in the alley. I was with him. Another time he was supposed to take us to the zoo and he snuck us in. We had to go like around this back fence, climb the fence, and like he's like half paralyzed trying to climb this fence.
Right.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, but we got in. But the last straw was I used to collect baseball cards when I was young. And I would go to his house. I'd be bored out of my mind because like he wasn't, he had brain damage at that point. So I'm sure he was a better father whenever I was younger because I remember like playing wiffle ball, doing all these things. But at that point, like I would just go to his house and just like do my own thing. It was like, didn't want to be there. And I would see like cookers. I didn't know they were cookers at the time, but he was still getting high. So whenever it was time to leave the one weekend, I just left and I left my cards there. Now they were like maybe worth $40.
Right.
Like nothing, but my mom, when I told my mom I left them there like the next day or something, I could see her face like, oh,
they're gone.
She called him and he was like, oh, my house got burglarized. And yeah, so my mom was just like, you never got to go there again if you don't want, So I was like 100% good with that. My older brother had a lot more attachment because he was older to him. He was older when it all happened. So he took the divorce hard. He took all that stuff real hard. But it was almost a blessing for me. I don't have many memories of him before that. So it was like easier for me to not be attached to him. And then what would happen later in life, it would just be even easier. But unfortunately, my mother met another gentleman he's a recovering addict. So he was clean at the time. The reason I know that is because I would always have to go to Narcotics Anonymous meetings with him. And he was nice at first, like any person you bring into the home is. But eventually, it just turned into, he was physically abusive to me. Like only me. It was only me and my older brother, but they ended up having my little brother. And it was just, it was like 3 years that it went on. I never told anybody, but you know, I had resentments toward my mother for years over this because I have kids. I know if my kids don't want to like be left with someone, if they don't feel comfortable with them, you know, he was like a sadist, you know, and it would start out where he would beat me if I was like, if I did something wrong, like didn't do a dish the whole way or something,
right.
You know, I'm like 8 at the time, 9 or something. I resented my dad because I didn't have anyone to stick up for me. I couldn't go tell my dad, like, this dude's beating the shit out of me every day. What's he going to do, you know? It would be every time I was alone with him or I came home from school and he was there, I would see his van there and my mom's car not there. I would just know. I would go in and I would cry. And then at the same time, I was going to a school called Fort Pitt in Pittsburgh. It's not open anymore, but it was predominantly African-American. And being young and I didn't really know too many people in there, just fighting every day. And at that time, I wouldn't stick up for myself. I would just like have my coat taken. I would just like run or I'd go on the ground in the ball. And so all this is like going on at the same time. And I just kind of like got to a point where I just broke and I just couldn't take the abuse anymore because I would get so mad at myself for not fighting back.
Right.
Or not like, you know, especially with the school stuff. Like with him, I couldn't fight back. You know,
he's a grown man.
Yeah, he would have killed me. But at school, I would just get so. I remember just going home from school and just like wanting to kill myself as a 9-year-old because I couldn't stand that I was so afraid of this stuff. You know. And at a certain point, I just decided, like, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna fight back. I don't care what happens. You know, like, what's the worst that could happen? And with him, I didn't like intellectualize this at my age, but I understood somehow that he wanted to see me cry, and he wanted to like make me fearful.
Right.
So he got off on that somehow, so I wouldn't give it to him. It was hard at first. Like, I remember, like, I just like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna, you know. And the first time I just like tried to do it and just broke completely. But after a little bit of time, I find that it was just like easy to do once I made my mind up to it.
Right.
You know, and he would go crazy. Yeah. And this was like towards the end. And they ended up getting divorced, but it was not because of that. He ended up right up your alley doing mortgage fraud and all this stuff. Yeah. He's a recovering addict, but you can't live like that in a 12-step program and not you're going to use at some point because you just can't justify all that stuff in your mind. You know, you're like living two lives in opposition. So I don't know if he started using again before they divorced or whatever. I just know there was a lot of arguing, a lot of money problems or whatever. And they ended up getting divorced, which was the best thing for me. I couldn't stand him. I hoped he died at that point. You know, I love my little brother still to this day. I love my little brother, always will. But the stuff he did to me is like, I blocked it out for years. Just like, then I would like tell myself it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't I wouldn't share it because I didn't think it was worthy of being shared. You know, but like having kids of my own, like if somebody terrorized one of my kids like that every day, I would go to prison. That's the only thing I would ever go back to prison for, you know? And so I was never close to my mother after this, you know? Which is like, she never acknowledged it, you know, until later, years later. I'll get to that at some point. But I don't know why I've thought about this, but like I idolize bad people, you know? The people in the neighborhood that were in trouble, that were like fighting, I idolized them. I had to, like, that's all I cared about. I didn't want to be a baseball player. I didn't want to be anything. I wanted to hang out at the park and have those dudes that I thought was tough and cool accept me. And I was willing to do anything you know, and people say that, but I'll outline how I was willing to do anything to be a part of that. So I was accepted a lot more because of my brother, you know, said he had friends and then they had younger siblings. So I'd hang out with them and automatically be accepted for that. And even at the late night parties, like I recognized that like people would say, "Oh, he's crazy," you know, and I was like, you know, that gets you attention, that gets you like, you know, recognition. So I'm just gonna be crazy and do, you know what I mean? So that's how I started being, and I would hang out Lawrenceville. We would drink sometimes. The older kids would get, you know, we'd all drink together, but mostly I would just hang out with my friends. The first time I was arrested was for a robbery. Wouldn't have thought it was a robbery at the time, but looking, it was a robbery. So there was a kid from.
I thought we were just taking some stuff away from this guy.
Yeah, no. This kid, there was a kid named West Virginia, or his name was Mike something, but we called him West Virginia because he was from West Virginia, and he was just not one of us, you know. But like he would hang out with us here and there this summer. So for some reason, we knew that he had like $700-800 on him or whatever. And we were drinking up on the back of the park. You know, every bad neighborhood has a park. You know, all the bad kids are always in the back of it. You know, so everyone knew we'd hung out there. The police would like leave us alone most of the part unless we didn't like mess with everyone in the park. You know, so we ended up like we had like a little plan. There was like 4 of us, me, a girl, and 2 of my guy friends, and we had a blackjack. I don't know if you know what that is. Like the cops have it. It's like a
Oh yeah, like a little tiny billy club thing. Yeah,
and it's like it's got a real hard service on the end for when you hit. You know?
Yeah.
So we had like a little thing worked out. Like when I do this, you hit him with the blackjack.
Right.
So we did that. Robbed him. He ended up having like a pretty serious head injury. It wasn't like brain damage or anything, but so. Right away, police are looking for us, and so I just didn't go home, you know. And he ended up seeing me and I'm like 12. He's like probably 17, 18.
Right.
So he sees me by myself because I'm on, you know, I'm not going home, so I'm out all hours of the day and night. And he sees me on Butler Street.
A few hours later?
No,
days
it's like
later?
3 days later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he chases me all the way down, and I run in this restaurant, and he runs in, grabs me, gets on me, pins me down, and then waits for the cops to come. You know, I couldn't get him off me. I was like, but I mean, I deserved it, 100%. So they take me to Schumann for the first time, which is like the juvenile detention center. So they ended up just giving me probation. It was like nothing real serious. The first armed robbery I did, I was 16, and this was something I did with 2 other people. And I never got caught for this one, which is crazy because everyone knew about it. It was just I probably ran my mouth a lot, plus the people I was with ran their mouth.
Right.
So it was a Subway. It was a Subway sandwich shop.
Right. I was gonna say there's a Subway.
No.
Pittsburgh?
It was a Subway sandwich shop. What I remember about this is probably one of the only ones I went in with a real gun. Because one thing about addicts, if they're robbing you, the gun is probably not real, because if it is real, it's easier to sell the gun. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, always. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather sell a gun and get high than go rob something and all that heat or whatever. But this one, it was like my friend's dad's gun. He lives right around like a block away. So I had someone just looking out on the corner. And then I went in. I had a mask on, and I was like 3 doors down, just standing there. It was nighttime, and trying to get my nerve up. And I remember when I put the mask up and made my mind to go in, because I was also watching customers. I want to go in when no one's in there. And then I put my mask up, and I pulled a gun out, and I start walking, and there's cars going by. And I see this car with these 2 little kids in the back, and they're looking at me. They're like, and they're seeing me with a gun walking up to the store. Like, yeah, and I'll never forget that kid's face. It was like, oh my, it's just like everything stopped. So I go into the Subway. I don't remember anything about the robbery, really. It just happened so fast. But I'm got maybe like $300. It happened. They thankfully gave it up real fast. Ran out right through traffic to my friend's house. There was no real chase or anything after that. Mm-hmm. The thing I didn't know, so obviously I don't want to leave after that. So I have my friend go buy the drugs, you know?
Right.
So it takes him like 40 minutes to get there and get back. And then when he gets back, I'm like, I'm going first, you know? I'm the one that did everything, you know? So because we only had 1 needle at that time. It wasn't like it is now where you can go 80 places and get needles. Like,
right.
We were, unless you knew a diabetic, you were sharing needles, until they break. Sometimes they did break while you're using them. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. Yeah. But so I get my dope ready, right? And I do a decent shot. I don't feel any of it. Adrenaline. Because like my friends do it right after and they're obliterated. They're like sleeping on each other. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't feel anything. And it was because my adrenaline from the armed robbery had not come down yet. And I recognized right then, like that chemical rush from the adrenaline is like more powerful than anything.
Right.
And I think in some way I became addicted to that, even though there's an anxiety with it that is like really hard to describe and like not enjoyable, So I got away with that one. I ended up getting arrested. My girlfriend got pregnant right then too.
All by herself?
No. Mostly. I mean, at that, I didn't know what I was doing. It's a miracle she did get pregnant right that way. But I think I was 15. She was 14. But our parents were smarter than us and made her get an abortion. But I ended up going to like a youth I got juvenile life from like 16 to 18 for just
juvenile life.
Yeah. They used to give it out where sometimes it would be to 21. It would be a stipulation to 18 or 21. So mine was to 21 to Newcastle YDC, which is Youth Development Center. And then whenever you're going through these juvenile systems, you hear about all these places like Newcastle YDC, Danville. You know they're like the worst ones or whatever. So at a certain point, my judge was just done with me. Like, you're somewhere until you're 18. So I go up there and I go immediately with the child killer unit, the teenage killers, where everyone in my unit was there for murder. There was a dude killed his dad with a board with a nail in it. Good enough guys, honestly. Like I didn't have any problems there, but like they were all there for killing somebody. A lot of them were off, like just. You could tell there was something really wrong with them.
Right.
That was like my first interactions with people that had killed somebody. That like, it wasn't like a prison setting though. There was a lot of control there. It wasn't a lot of fights or anything. So I did my time in the lockdown part, and then I went to the open part, which was like a drug and alcohol thing. And that's what I had to graduate that before I could leave. I got my GED. I worked in the office. Find out fast that. The mail bag for school came right to me, and I would like disperse all the teachers' mail, but it would come right to me, like from the post office. Like they would get a bag up front, and then I would go get it. I could just get anything mailed into me, you know. So I would just start having cigarettes mailed in, and I was smart with it though. I wasn't dumb because I knew like everyone just tells on you or whatever. So I did. It was pretty easy. I got out at 18, and I went and lived with my uncle. Now my uncle, my mother's brother, was like. He was Mr. Pennsylvania for like I think 3 years in a row, which is like bodybuilder. He was like super into bodybuilding, like disgusting big. And then he was also used to sell a lot of drugs.
Right.
And he's like kind of like had a very big reputation in the streets, right? So at this time he's like reformed. He got all his money, bought a car lot, got some apartments and stuff. So him and his family, they agreed to let me live with them because it's like, let's get him away from his environment. Maybe it'll be better. Because I was always smart. I always like did good in school and I just didn't want to do any of that shit, I had no interest in anything other than being on the streets, hanging out, building that reputation. So I go live with him and it's going good there for like almost a year. And then the FBI raids his house. Out of
and this
nowhere.
is for steroids?
No.
Oh, just other drugs, what, like blow?
Okay. So this is what happened. We find out later, obviously. So now his house was right here, and then right here was my grandmother's house, right? And it was just easier for me to live in my grandmother's house, but I was right there with them. It was like all one property. So I was going to college at the time, CCAC, and I just hear boom, 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 boom. It's like 6 a.m. And my grandmother busts in my room. She's like, they're arresting Ricky. They're arresting Ricky. And I look out, and there's just cars everywhere. It was FBI, DEA. It was some other ones, part of marshals or whatever. So what happened was someone that he had been dealing with for years. Now, I don't know how true it was, but I would have been with him every day
Right.
for that year. And he wasn't doing anything. You know, he was working, selling cars, you know, lifting every day. You know what I mean? We was all into that. But you know, he'd have a lot of cash sometimes and that. And he would be honest about what he was like before or whatever.
Yeah.
But his friend was in Texas picking up a bunch of cocaine, driving it up, got arrested on the way. So then they don't need you. They don't need to catch you with anything in the feds. You know that. So he ended up getting 10 years. Yeah.
Right.
For, I think it was between 5 and 15 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got.
Could be, I mean, the connection could be, you know.
It was a large indictment with a lot of people.
I'm saying they could just add you to the indictment
Right.
and have a couple phone calls with you, or 3 people are saying, nah, he's involved. He's the guy he's our connection.
They
you know.
tried to get him to do the proffer thing or whatever. And he asked me, like, we had discussions about it. Like, what do you think? Do you think, you know, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know.
Well, the worst thing is if you have such a minor role, like, what do you
do?
Yeah. What do I do? I'm really not involved. I talked to Jimmy once and said, talk to Todd.
So, yeah.
I made 3 phone calls.
These guys all said, or this one guy in particular with, I think, someone else backing it up, that he had sold them kilos, like 80, whatever.
Well, and here's the thing. It could be years later.
That's the thing.
It could be 2 years. You could clean up your life, get a regular job.
And he did.
Something you did 3 years earlier. They got you on a wire 3 years earlier.
You know how much money that drains you. So after that, like they arrested him. We got him out, I think, the next day. But then he's fighting that case, you know, and it's just like they're throwing these numbers around and he's all stressed out. So before he ended up getting sentenced or anything, I moved back home just because, not that they wanted me to or anything. I was starting to like go back to Lawrenceville anyway, starting to like get stuff, start to do more drugs. And it wasn't going to work out because he was going to flip out on me. We were going to end up fighting. He's a tough dude. He's a big dude, you know. So I think my mother recognized that and just said, why don't you just come back and live there? So then I'm like 19, 20. This is when everything just goes really bad.
Because it's been going so well.
Yeah, well, I never felt like a loser before.
Okay, I was going to say.
This is like the first time where I was like, I'm a fucking loser.
Right.
I have nothing going on. Like,
well, because you're just a teenager. Nobody expects anything of you as a kid.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You're just kind of bouncing off the walls.
And I was like living off of false stuff, you know, with this is all I care about or whatever. But you know, I remember like just having no direction and just like feeling like I better never have kids. 'Cause, like I really like had, you know, I just had my mind made up that I was worthless, you know. So this is where the starting to get high every day comes in.
Right.
When you're getting high every day, like I said, all drug addiction is a math problem that you have to figure out. And the more you do, the more you need, you know, for tolerance. So every day I'd have to, you know, fundraise is what I call it, you know? Yeah. Like, and this is every addict everywhere has to figure out how to get whatever dollar amount. And it's crazy because at one time, one of my last runs years ago, I was with my ex, the only time I've ever got high with a partner, and we had gone like a year, and there had only been 2 days where we got to the nighttime without getting high, and that's from 0 every day, you know, and that's a hard thing to do. I'm talking like one person, $100 at least, you know, like every day coming up, and I would have my hustles would be from, you know, like I would do robberies out of desperation. First, I would go to the Goodwill. This was a good one of my favorites. So I'm sorry to everybody that's going to see this that I've sold Goodwill clothing to. I'm sorry. Goodwill's a great place. But I would go in Goodwill because I knew I could easily take that stuff without much, you know, hassle. And I would just look for clothes that looked brand new, you know. And then I would go down to some, you know, people that I knew needed clothes for their kids or for them or whatever. And people would buy them, and, you know, and every once in a while, someone would be like, there's someone's initials on this tag or something. Right. And I'd be like, I don't know how that got in there. And I would always tell them, I ripped the tags off immediately so that if the cops grab me, you know, it's just, you know. So that was one. I would go to Rite Aid. We had a bunch of Rite Aids by our house or by where I lived. And we would terrorize these Rite Aids. We were talking about it last night at the fireworks. Right. We would just walk in and they'd be like right on the phone to the police, like, they're here. Because we would go in with bags and just do a whole shelf, you know what I mean? And the amount of like every day going to bars, you want to buy these cameras, buy these batteries, all this stuff. And you know, I worked one day for the Sierra Club, you know, the Sierra Club, the magazine. It's like an environmentalist thing, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the pitch door to door, right? Like where you go and you're like, hello, I'm with the Sierra Club, blah, blah, blah. And you're like trying to get them to give you either donations or buy a subscription.
Right.
Couldn't do it, right? So I didn't go back. But later on, I'm like, oh, I still got the clipboard and the badge and stuff. Like maybe I could just do that, represent myself and get money if I can. But all of a sudden I could do it. I could do the spiel. I could get through it because my motivation was different. You know,
Right.
it was like I had to do it, you know? So that would be another go-to. I'd go door to door, like, you know, trying to, people give me $20. You know, most people, nothing, they'd slam the door on you. But, you know, I had all these, you know, that, cause like I knew people that panhandled. Like, no offense, if you're a man and you're a dope fiend, you should not be panhandling. That's like,
Right.
It is. It's just, I don't know. I did it one time and it was the slowest time ever. And I just feel like go out and commit a crime like a real man. You know what I mean?
It's horrible, bro.
It is. But like, I mean, come on, dude.
What is the, oh God, Joe Pesci plays, who does he play where he's beating the guy up and he says, if you were a real man, you'd be
Casino.
out stealing?
Yeah. I forget he says the guy's name. He's covering for, but anyway, I would do that stuff in white strips. You know, everyone wanted white strips or batteries or stuff. So then the times where I would do these robberies,
What's white strips?
press white strips.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You know, when you go into it,
Yeah.
you go into it anywhere and everything's locked up now.
Yeah.
I'm why.
Right.
We're why. That's why you can't get a digital, you know, camera or the razors. You know what I mean? I've had people where they have 3 lifetime supplies of those razors just because I would just get them over and they would just, you know, keep buying them or whatever. But so if I would get through some of that stuff and it would get to nighttime and I'd still be dope sick, everything's closed. Like you're not getting no money nowhere. You know, so I guess most people just suck that up and like go home and sweat it out. That's when I'm like, what are my options? All right, I know I can go into this store. I would get creative. I get a bag and a rock in a bag, you know, and I go in there and like I probably did like 40 of them all together. Never had any problems with anybody saying like, you know, not giving the money up or like, you know, someone in the store grabbing you because that stuff happens a lot.
A rock in a bag.
Yeah,
I understand what
like a brown paper bag.
Right.
You want to make it look like you have a gun. Right. So I would just grab a rock that has, you know, something to hold like this, and I put the bag over it, and I go in like, you know, you don't got to show it. You're just like whatever, you know. I would the one I did from rehab. This is so I
And what are you doing? You're robbing these people? Like you're going in and robbing?
Yeah, gas station.
Okay, so the clerk, you're going in and saying, hey, give me what's in the register?
Oh, yeah, I'm going in at 1 a.m, you know.
They always give you what's in the register, or they ever say, go fuck yourself?
I've never had anybody. Now, one of my other hustles was late night, and this is sorry, I love the gay community, you know, for real. Like they are, you know, I've always, you know, had good friends in that community and stuff. I have no problem, but, you know, I would like walk with my shirt off at night at like 1 a.m, and someone would, you know, they would just, I don't know, they're coming from the bars and stuff. So you see them, they come around, they go around again. But like, I'll tell you the gays don't give it up. Like, cause I would never have a gun. So I would like, you know, have to act like I had a gun or something. Maybe like 50% of the time they would give it up. Cause like you get in the car and, it would always be awkward as fuck. You know, they'd be like, you know, and I would be like, I'd be super like, you know, because honestly, if I could do that, I would do it for the money. I just couldn't do that. Right. It wouldn't work. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be any good for, you know what I mean? So
nobody's going to come out happy at that situation.
No. So like I would get in the car and it would be like, you know, a negotiation, and it's like, and then, you know, at a certain point I'd be like, you know, I'd pull out whatever, or like one time he put the money in the console, so I just grabbed it. Stuff like that. The times where I think maybe I pulled out, like acted like I had a weapon. Mm-hmm. The one guy only gave me what he was gonna pay me. He had more money, and I'm like, no, give me all the money. He's like, no. I'm like, all right, just give me that then. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't. Most of the time, if you call my bluff, I got to run.
Right.
It's just no one ever did, thank God, you know. But the gay dudes, they didn't.
They want to argue.
Yeah, they you know.
So no, you are not.
Yeah, that would be another one, man. But gay dudes can fight, man.
Yeah.
Have you? I mean, you've been in prison. Oh, they could rumble, dude. They could rumble. Like not all of them, but some of them can rumble more than your average dude by far.
Listen, there was a gay guy that I remember one of the cops chased him. I forget what he did, but he chased him into the bathroom. And the cop like kicked open the door in the stall looking for him, and the guy attacked him.
Oh yeah!
And I mean, the cop was screaming, and I mean, he got him on the ground. He's fighting with him. And the cop was just like He was hit the fucking deuces.
Right.
The cops started coming, but you could hear him screaming, and he was the biggest asshole of a cop too.
Oh yeah!
You would have never thought he would have behaved this way.
I've seen some of them dudes, especially in the county, where they would get fucked with, and they would beat someone's ass. There was a couple dudes legendary down there, but anyway, so I'm doing them as a last resort, right?
Right.
So the first, I ended up having a string of 6 altogether that I was on the run for. And this was probably like the worst time of my life.
They're connecting with you.
Well, I did them all back to back.
Yeah.
I kept getting out on bond.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So the first one was in Beaver County, or no, the first one was in Allegheny. So Allegheny's Pittsburgh, right? So there's a county above it, Butler, and then below it's Beaver, right? So I'm in Pittsburgh that's where I do all my dirt at or whatever. So the first one was not, I didn't even do anything. It was like I shouldn't have been arrested for this. I seen this girl Teresa, and she was saying that she was going to snatch this lady's purse, and I'm like, well, good luck with that. Like I left, right? And now the lady's like at the corner, and I'm like, all right, well, and I go home. She goes and does it. And then I end up leaving my house probably an hour later, and I got bowl cutters with me because I'm going to steal bikes. We go over Pitt University and just cut the locks off. So I have them in my pants, and I'm cutting through the cemetery because I don't want no one to see me carrying them. She's sitting in the cemetery, had just stole this lady's purse, but couldn't go anywhere because they were looking for her, right? But she has the money. She's like, "Will you go grab something for me and bring it back?" Right? Like, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I should have just not come back. That would have been the.
Oh, I thought you didn't come back.
I never did that to anybody. Yeah, like none of my. There's one person that can say I did them wrong, and I'll get to that. But I get the dope. I come back. We're sitting there on this hill, right, getting high, and she's sniffing it at the time, right. So she's done right away. I'm getting mine ready. I gotta cook it. I'm drawing it up into the thing, into the needle. And the cops surround us, right? And it's like I'm standing there, and I can't believe I didn't do it. Looking back on it now, I'm mad at myself. I didn't, because what are they going to do? They're going to shoot me for putting a needle in my own arm, I went to jail sick that day. Right. Whenever I had a needle full of dope in my hand. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, they arrested us both for that. They go to the lady, and they ask her, like, just the girl, yeah. And then the lady's like, well, he was there too. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, I wasn't. And we go back and forth. The cops, because I don't know. So I'm just arresting them, charging them with robbery, blah, blah, blah. So they take me to the county, both of us. She bonds out right away because she has no criminal history or nothing. Her bond's low. Mine was I think $5,000 straight, which is not bad. It's like $400 to a bondsman. This is the first time my older brother would screw me over for in the name of dope, right? I love my older brother to this day. He suffered a lot. So if anyone should be mad at him, it's me, and I'm not. So, whatever. Don't. But I got this girl to pay my bond. When you pay a bondsman, you got to sign for it. You're responsible. Yeah. So, I knew she didn't want to do that. So I told her, get my brother. He'll sign for it. He talked her into giving me the money. I'll just go pay it. And he left me there in dope sick, in jail, right? I think I'm leaving. This dude's messing with me. I beat the crap out of him, thinking I'm leaving that day. Go to the hole. I'm up in the hole, I'm out of here. They're gonna call my name any minute. There. I was up there for 10 days until they went to the court hearing, and they dropped it. Said the write up. So I ended up going back to population, and I don't know what happened, but I'm figuring it out. It's the only thing that could have happened, right? Unless I have another detainer or something. But he would do that again to me. He did that to me twice with bail money. The second time, I didn't tell the girl to give it to him. She did that on her own. I never would have. But then he also was part of my state case. as
Right.
an informant, which I'll get to. But so I eventually do bond out on that one, right? So now I'm out on one bond, Pittsburgh, right? So I go to rehab in Beaver County, Gateway. It's like a pretty big rehab out there.
Okay.
It's got like some little halfway houses attached to it, So I finished rehab. I go to this place called the Moffat House. It was like eight people, 8 men living together, and like going to meetings and all that stuff. You have a counselor there. So as soon as I get there, I meet this kid, Scott. We just hit it off right away, right? He was from out there. He just had a baby, and I didn't know anyone out there, right? So I'm just like, kind of lost, no car or nothing. He we get cool, and he just makes sure that I'm always included in what he's doing, right? Like super good dude. Like he would, his girl would always come, with the baby, and if he was going on a pass, he would like make sure I could go with him, go to the mall, I go with him. And I was writing a lot at the time. I remember he would, I wrote a novel, and we were in the same room together, and he would just read it out loud, while we were sitting there like killing time and stuff. But he was a good friend, a really good dude, right? So we were in there for months together, and we had a real young counselor named Tabitha. And it's just probably her first like real job, because she like some of the stuff was not real professional. She probably wouldn't have did later,
Right.
But I got real cool with her, where I'd be in there like just talking to her like all about real stuff, you know what I mean? And never like made no move or nothing, but like sometimes I thought it was possible or
Right.
whatever. She looked really good too. And one day Rachel calls me out of nowhere. That's Scott's girlfriend, right? And says she's in love with me, right? Out of nowhere. Like if you would have told me, because at the house they call, someone calls the so-and-so there, and they call you. Like if you'd have told me she was on the phone for me, I would have gave you 1,000 reasons why before I got to that. Didn't see it coming. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl. And, I was immediately like, well, I can't, Scott, blah, blah, blah. And long story short, I ended up having an affair with her, right? Which was terrible. Horrible. The worst thing I could have did to anyone at that point, right? And it was fucked up. So she ends up. I end up telling them, because like she's trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
But like they're kind of breaking up anyway. But like Scott's a tough dude. And, I knew I was gonna have to fight him. I knew it was gonna come down to that eventually. So at a certain point, I called him and told him, because I left. Tabitha gave me an ultimatum. So Tabitha found out what was going on with Rachel, and she knew everything, all the ins and outs of it. And she was crying whenever I told her about this, like crying, real tears. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what? So she said, you either can't see her anymore or you have to leave. It didn't make sense to me. Like,
Right.
It's like, I don't know. So that's when she was crying when I told her I was leaving. I was like, well, because I was like, I don't know. I like gripped on to Rachel as like the only thing in my life at that point, really good, So I end up moving out. I get an apartment out there, and then I tell Scott what's going on, because he didn't hear from me for like 2 weeks.
Right.
He's asking her like, we got to find him, make sure he's okay. So fucked up. I know. It is. It is.
You're a horrible person.
No, I know. Believe me, it's come back on me. It's come back on me the last few years.
Right.
Yeah, I've had my clock cleaned, deservedly so. So I tell him, and he was he was a hothead. He was a hothead, and I used to lift with him. I knew how strong he was. He was a strong dude, and he's like, meet me here, blah blah blah.
Ugh.
So I go to meet him. He didn't come the first time or whatever, right? And then the second, now I'm admit he probably would have whooped my ass if he did me. I'm not saying I would have beat him, but after that, he just let it go. Like then we weren't friends or whatever, but he just was like, she's not worth it. Like, and then he wanted to be friends still, which was so fucked up. Like, you know, and
because now you don't want to look at him.
yeah,
you can't
right.
Because
I'm such a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm living out there. My only real connection is her, right? But I don't want to be around her all the time, So I'm going into Pittsburgh. So I figure out when the bus goes to Pittsburgh, I'll go into Pittsburgh for a few days, get high, come back. I start getting worried. I don't want to get dependency right on dope again. So I would do it 2 days or so, come back and be in my apartment. and just dying in there, so bored. Like I had a TV and everything, but like once you let that thing into you again, I haven't done an opiate in years. If I did one today, tomorrow,
just like
it's like I can't live without it.
Right.
You cannot. Like I would just mortgage my entire life for one day of that.
Yeah.
Again, whereas today that doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't, So I'm finding myself back there like desperate, and I know what I'm doing. I know it's going to happen.
Right.
So I don't want it to happen, but so I end up I have this girl Missy come out. We're getting high together. Rachel comes to my house whenever she's there. Melissa left. She's dead too. Melissa left the door open. So Melissa OD, another one. But she left the door open. Her and Rachel were fighting. And then, so Rachel leaves.
Is Rachel still with?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they broke up pretty much
Right.
immediately whenever, and me and her were supposed to be together, but it was never going to work because, like, it started on infidelity. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't know. We were both, I just can't, I think she thought she was going to get something from me. I don't know. She, like, really liked the writing stuff, and, like, she was just, like, enamored and wanted something different, I think.
Yeah.
And, was let down probably.
Right.
But I didn't even give her a chance to feel let down. Like, I'm like, doing my own thing. So then I find myself stuck out there some days, and I start committing little crimes to get money. So there was a shop and save by there. So I would go up and I would steal DVDs, sell them real quick, and then I'd have enough money to get a bus and then go get high and then come back. So do that, and then I start writing bad checks, once I burn the DVDs out. So I do get all the way to where, like, my only options are really to go rob something, right? Because it's a little town. There's not much there. So I robbed, there was a pizza place there. I robbed that, and I robbed another place before I robbed the place I got caught for. So the place I got caught for was a Dairy Queen. Now, I don't have transportation, so I got to do all these things on foot, right? Which is very hard to get away with, very
Right.
stupid, yeah. So this Dairy Queen is literally a mile and a half from where I'm living, right? I didn't think it out great, but there's nothing around there. It's like I
Right.
can't rob someone, I don't know if anything.
And then you got to run a mile and a half to get home.
Oh,
The
I
cops,
tried.
by
Yeah.
that point, the
no,
cops
they
are-
got me. Yeah, so I go in there. No, but without a gun, he had a butcher knife. I did butcher knives a lot. We'll go in there with a butcher knife. Got the money, get away. Now there's a bridge and a river between my house and there, right? So I get spotted right before the bridge, right? So I run down to the river, and they're chasing me, and I get into the river. I don't know where I'm going, they let the dogs out. Dogs are on me, so they arrest me. I go up, get taken to Beaver County Jail, where I've never been. Robbery charge, it was like robbery, assault, because I put the knife to her neck, or his neck, I'm sorry. And then, so dope sick again. And then I got this girl to bond me out after I got through the whole sickness. So it was like 2 weeks or whatever. I had to talk to her every day for 2 weeks to get her to do it. So she bonds me out. So now I'm out on two. Now I'm out on the Beaver one, and I'm out on the one in Pittsburgh. So then the third one, I start getting high again. And then by this time, I understand when I start getting high, my shelf life is short, right? Because I'm doing these ridiculously high risk reward crimes.
Right.
Can't keep doing that so I start getting high, and I get paranoid, and I go to rehabs, right? Because I want to get clean. I want to stop, So I go to this rehab in Pittsburgh, which is, I'm sorry, the worst rehab probably in the world. It's such a bad rehab because they take so many jail people, right? It just doesn't mix. You can't do that because a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I'm a drug addict.
Yeah, send me to rehab.
Yeah. So they get there, and now you're in a room with half drug addicts, half not drug addicts or dealers even. And, like, the drug addicts aren't going to share honestly about, I suck dick for whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to say that whenever there's half people that are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That don't. So it's a terrible place,
Right?
For more than one reason. So I didn't know that at the time. I go in there, check in there, and but now they give you in detox for opiate withdrawal, they give you stuff that's actually effective. Like Suboxone will normalize you. Make you feel normal. Believe it or not, it's a hard thing to believe, but it really is, because the physical withdrawal is the worst thing that you can experience. So back then they gave you Catapres and Librium, which is like a something to lower your blood pressure, and then the Librium I think is for anxiety or something, but it does nothing. Like, you might as well not even take it, because instead of feeling crazy bad and like you take it, you're just gonna be a little bit groggy and still feel the same. You know what I mean? So I was like day 2, day 3, and this rehab was right in the middle of like a residential neighborhood, real bad neighborhood. And then the yard had a big green fence around it, so you couldn't see out to the street. And then that's where we would smoke at, in that backyard. So I decide I'm leaving, right? No real plan, but like I can't do this. I need to go get money somehow and get high. So I jump the fence, run up the street, get a bag and a rock, you know, go up to it's broad daylight. Go up to it's Wilkinsburg in Pittsburgh, which is like a predominantly African American neighborhood, pretty bad, and a big gas station with in and out people everywhere. I don't know how I did it. I go in there, I rob it, I get the money, I run. I had an Allen Iverson jersey on. I remember because I ripped it off while I was running back to the rehab and threw it. Probably shouldn't have did that, but for the trail, because they will get a dog and they'll catch your scent, right? So I run all the way back to the rehab, jump over the fence. Now I'm back because I didn't know where to go. Once I robbed the place, I'm like, I don't know anywhere. I don't know anywhere around here. Like I have to like get on a bus, or you know the rehab is all. I run back. I jump in without them knowing. But then right when I'm jumping in, a kid's coming out. That's a client, and he's like, "Where was you at, dude?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Mind your own fucking business, right?" So I start fighting with him, and then I just like push past him to get inside. And then go, because he wasn't even on my unit. He was on like the I was in detox. He was on like the rehab side. Goes and tells somebody. So I'm in detox, laying there like I've been there the whole time. And they come in like, "Hey, can we talk to you?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't get up. I can't move." You know what I mean? Trying to make them think. They made me go to the office. I go to the office, and where'd you go, bro? I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, You left the rehab and came back. Where did you go?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." Now, I don't know if they had cameras,
right?
But I said, like, look at the cameras, right? So they're like, we will, but we know, whatever. So I start saying, like, I got all this money in my pocket. I'm like, well, I'm leaving anyway. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna go get changed and I'm gonna leave, right? So, or no, they're saying you have to leave. They were telling me first, you have to leave, right? Now, cops are everywhere. You can hear the sirens out there. Like, it's probably been 7 minutes since I robbed it and got back.
Right.
So you can hear the cops everywhere. So I don't want to go out there, but at the same time, I got money. So it's like, I have to get out there eventually. But so they're saying I have to leave. So I'm like, all right, can I call a cab? And I'll wait in the office. You can call a cab and wait outside. I'm like, let me just wait in the office. Like, no, you can wait outside. So then I get my stuff, getting ready to go out. And they're like, listen, we talked about it. You can stay. You can stay if you want. I'm like, no, I want to leave, right? I should have fucking stayed.
Yeah.
Should have stayed. I'm like, no, I need to leave. I got, this money burning a hole in my pocket. I need to go get high. So there's like the front was just steps and it's kind of buried in. So I just got in there, sat there, waited for this cab, which took forever, of course. Finally, the cab comes. I get in it, tell the dude, take me to Lou's Bar, which is over where I live. And I know there's a payphone right there. So my plan is to just go there, payphone, call. And then if my dude's there, I'll have the cab take me down. So I do that. We're riding over. The cabbie's making small talk or whatever. I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So get into the thing. I make the call. I call my boy Pooh. I'm like, yeah. He's like, Pooh, you got anything? Yeah, I'm good. All right. I need a bundle or whatever. I'm coming down. Get back in the cab. And cab driver acting normal. Drives like 2 or 3 blocks. There's a cop coming this way, and the cop just pulls right in front of the thing, stops. The cabbie's like, just acts like he knows. He just stops the car, and I'm just like, I shove all the money into the seat. But what happened was, somebody seen me get into the cab. Like, I don't know if it was someone searching or someone in a house that knew about the robbery. Something. It ended up being on this Discovery. They seen me. They called the cab. They called the police. The police called the cab company. The cab company radioed the driver when I was in the thing using the payphone. Mm-hmm. Couldn't have been when I was there. If it would have been during the ride, I would have heard it.
Right.
And I would have said, "All right, let me the F out of here," But no, it was. So I get back in. They're like, "Just drive down the street normal, like you would,
We'll cut you off."
Yeah. So pull me out of the car, arrest me, back down the bullpen, dope sick. That's the other time my brother spent the bail money. So I ended up being there like a month rather than whatever it was, a couple weeks through the sickness again. And after I get out of there for that time, I'm trying to do good, but I just can't. I can't stop getting high. I have nothing going on in my life at all.
Right.
No trade, no interest in anything. Like never had a real serious or good relationship. I've always had a girlfriend, but just nothing. No one cares about me. I don't care about anybody. My family's given up on me. My brother is the type that he just robs everyone close to him.
Right.
So like my family knew that I'll never take anything from them, so I could stay there, but I wouldn't. I would always stay away because one, I don't want the restrictions of that. Plus, I just don't like, even though I know I love them, they love me. I don't want them seeing me like that every day.
Right.
And it's just so shameful already. But so anyway, this leads to the robbery that really got me pinned up. So as I was telling you, Beaver County, Pittsburgh, and then the county above it's Butler. Butler's notoriously like, don't come up here or we'll fucking bang the shit out of you if you get arrested up here from Pittsburgh,
right,
or from any big city. So I found this store, right? And the thing that was unique about it was they had cartons of cigarettes out in the aisles, right? It's a gas station, like any other gas station. But instead of it, most places stock their things and put them. And that's another thing I started doing was going in.
Yeah, they put them up here, or they put them in behind they got to go get them.
Yeah, one of my biggest hustles was just walking in and going into stock rooms.
Right.
Because if you go to like a Rite Aid or something, it's probably not like this anymore, but they have 2 people working. Someone always calls off, you know what I mean? So I would just walk in, go into the stock room, and then there's always exits back here. So you might grab boxes, not know what's in them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or sometimes if you got a little extra time, I've gone in there sometimes whenever places were like really understaffed, have a car pull up in the back and just take as much as you could, fill your car with boxes and boxes, and then you get them home and you find out these tampons or, you know what I mean? Whatever. You're going to sell it. You're going to get something from it, but that was another one. But so this, I wanted to get to this Butler gas station because I knew I could just go in the aisles, fill up a garbage bag with cartons, and that's a lot of money. Cigarettes are the easiest thing to sell. So I don't drive. I need to, my brother tells me he got a stolen car that we could use, right? So I'm like, all right, just let me know when, we'll go up. So when he shows up, he's like, well, Jamie's with us, right? He's like, and I'm like, I know Jamie's from our neighborhood, but I'm like, no, like I'm not. It's me and you only. Like I'm already worried about you. You know what I mean? Like I don't do robberies with anybody.
Right.
Like I'm already worried about you. I don't need someone else that's not doing anything. And he's like, well, it's his car too. Blah 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 blah. So whatever, man. Like so on the way up there, I'm telling mostly Jamie, like you're about to get paid good money for nothing. Mm-hmm. Like just don't talk about this to anybody, right? No one. And then. So we get up there, and it was pretty simple. Now, I didn't tell them I was going to straight rob it, right?
What did they think you were going to do?
Go in with a bag and grab,
okay.
I don't know if I decided that in the moment or not, but I ended up robbing it.
Right.
I went in, laid the 2 people down.
What'd you have on you? A gun?
I had a fake gun. I used to have this gun that had, you ever see the toy guns that had the orange thing on the end?
Yeah.
That look real. To take the orange thing off, you just click it off.
Yeah.
And, there's a couple places you got to take a black marker and but it looks super real.
Yeah.
So I would use that. And if you know guns, you're going to know, but most people don't.
Most people don't. Well, they're too scared to look at the gun.
They're not examining it. That's why I said,
they're not
like,
going.
If you get robbed by a heroin addict, look at the gun.
Did you ever see, was it Snatch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the antique guns.
It says replica.
Oh right, the replica.
The replica. And the other guy pulls out his fucking Desert Eagle. And he's like, I'll shoot you. He's like, well, since my gun says Desert Eagle across the barrel,
right,
and yours says.
It didn't say replica. It did say something though.
Yeah,
because I remember. It says something
like,
on
whatever.
it. Right.
He's like, I think I'm gonna be.
I sanded it off. I remember.
Right.
They put it in a space where you could kind of see it on the barrel or something. If it's pointed at you, like you notice it's fake. I just sanded it off. But anyway, so I go in there, I get them I lay them down, but there's an older guy and a woman, and I lay them behind the counter, and I go, the old lady I had to stand up, get all the money, right?
Right.
So then I'm filling this bag with cartons. So I go back up, get the money from her, go out. There's a little patch of wood, so I had them parked on the other side.
Is your face covered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have them parked on the other side here, right? So there's like a little patch of woods. It's like maybe 50 yards. Mm-hmm. There's like a couple of buildings here, but it was no activity whenever we parked. You know, it was like really the best setup because the main thing is can't have no one see that car because we have an hour drive, you know, or like 45 minutes, right? And if they know what car you're in, you're not getting back. So I get through the woods, run in, jump in, telling them go, like go. So we get up to the light. And of course, like Jamie, what's going on? I'm like, dude, just shut the fuck up, sit down, just quit turning around and talking to me, you know, because he's like, I'm in the back on the ground, you know what I mean? So then my brother's the first person at the light. Now, this is like a highway. The gas station's right here. There's like four different ways you can go or come from. And he's the first person at the light. And we're waiting for all these lights to change. But you're hearing like sirens. And he's like, I'm going. I'm like, no, dude, no, don't. Like, wait for the effing light.
Right.
So he does. Waits for a light. We get back. No problem. Right. So we get back. I go sell all the cigarettes. I paid, I think, Jamie, like $600 for nothing.
Right.
And my brother, like $800, you know, driving. And then I keep everything else. I tell them, get rid of this car. Do not use this car again. Now, I thought I should take the battery out. I should have did that. But I told them, this is the only way we can get caught is this car, right? So, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure thing. I don't know how they smoke crack. They smoke rocks. That's why their money was probably gone so fast.
Right.
You know, so they're desperate again. Now they need to go steal. So they're boosting in it, going to like a strip mall, you know, going in, running out with stuff, not knowing that whenever I jumped in the car, there's an old folks home right there in front of us, and we can't see, but old people like to look out the window a lot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they reported the vehicle to make and the model. So then they get in a high-speed chase, boosting. So I'm at home, just sitting there, not doing nothing, and I get a phone call. Hello? County jail, from inmate, and it's my brother. And first thing I say is like, please tell me you weren't in that car. No, dude, no. But what happened? We got but we were in the car, but I'm like, dude. So I think I asked him, like, did anyone talk to you about, and he's like, no. Well, I hung up immediately. Went upstairs, packed whatever I thought I needed to take, and I went on the run immediately because I knew it was over there, you know. And as it turned out, I would read later in the discovery, like they were like tripping over each other to tell, you know, once they got arrested, like, you know, who's going to tell first, you know. So now I'm on the run. I got 3 open.
I would say it's too. You should, if you just picked up the phone and said, "What's going on?" and then they said, "Yeah, bro, they this. What did you do?
Yeah,
I didn't do nothing. You did some. Whoa! Don't drag me into your shit." You know what
the problem is? He looks just like me. Right?
Oh, really?
So they also got me coming through the woods on the other side with my mask off.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it was just the car. I know the car had a whatever APB on it.
Yeah,
or
but these people are also 100, 200 feet away.
Exactly. But they had some type of description on me, and he looks just like me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He looks just like you.
Well, he should have took it. Right. You should.
He would have taken it if you answered the phone correctly.
If it was me.
What? What are you doing?
Oh, no.
I told you
I didn't incriminate. I didn't incriminate myself on the phone.
You did. No, you said, tell me. You said, tell me you weren't in that car.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't have said
that. Right. Yeah.
They didn't ask you anything about.
Right.
I would have said it, but if he had said, yeah, man, that place, no. Don't throw me in with your shit.
Look, I knew before we even did it that if any heat comes on,
right?
You know,
he's telling
and talking shit. Look, I'll tell you in a minute. The one time I did tell on somebody, and I hate myself to this day for it because it's the only thing I've ever done that anyone can say where I'm from. He did me fucking dirty,
right?
And I did do someone dirty, and no one wants to admit that they did, but most people out there did. And there's an easy way to tell. In your go to PA docket, you see the case actions. You go right down to them, DL 14 and all that. There's an easy way to tell if someone is
Cooperate.
part of someone else's case.
Yeah.
Yes, being transferred for all that. But anyway, I knew that was a bad one. But anyway, so
They come get you. Took off all
no,
the
no,
money.
I left immediately.
Yeah.
I knew, like he wouldn't admit it then, but
Yeah.
I knew, and it was my instincts were right. So within a week, I'm on the news for Butler. Butler's making the biggest deal. Like it was like I took 70 people hostage. You know, had like the Pope was involved, and
Right.
It is really like Crime Stoppers reward. So at the same time, there's a pizza outlet down in Lawrenceville where I live. So I do this. No, I don't tell no one about this. I actually pulled, it was like, I pulled a thing from a door, like a decoration, a plastic decoration. It was like an American flag or something.
Right.
Ripped it off, put it over me, as a disguise or whatever. So, and then I had the rock in the bag. So I go in the back door, 2 young kids working, maybe 18, 20. Friday night or Saturday night, super late. It was like 1 in the morning. They were about to close. I got all the money. It was probably like $6,000, right? So super easy robbery. I run out the back, run up this hill, take the plastic off, get rid of it, run through the cemetery, take my shirt off. So I run up to Lou's bar and everyone's up there partying. I go in there. Now I don't have a shirt on, right? So, because I threw my shirt. And also on the way up the hill, my cousin's a Pittsburgh police officer. Now at this point, he's like at this time he's just a regular police officer. Now he's like right under the chief of police. I think he's a shift lieutenant.
Right.
But he come flying down the hill before I could get to the cemetery with his partner, sees me, jumps, parks, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I'm like, I'm going home. He's like, get the fuck out of here. So years later, I asked him, like, do you remember that night? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I won't even say what he said because he still has a career.
Yeah.
But basically, like, but anyway, so I run up through the cemetery to that bar, and I don't have a shirt on. The bartender keeps telling me, you got to put a shirt on and leave. I know her. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, I'm in my head. I'm like, I just did this robbery. I don't want to be out. So I buy everyone a drink in the thing, thinking like that will let her know. You got to have a shirt. So then I try buying someone else's shirt and they sell me the shirt, but then now they don't have a shirt. Now they want their shirt back. So I go out to the payphone. I'm trying to it's like 2 a.m. I'm trying to get my drug dealer to come. And I'm like, I'll pay you double. I'll give you, $500 for a bundle, right? I can't get a hold of anybody. So I end up just leaving, walking around. Now this kid, Neil Banky, was around, just materialized out of nowhere around this time and just like hanging out with people, drinking. I didn't know him that well. I hung out with him a few times. I run into him that night. He's like, yeah, I got a place to stay down the street. Come on, you can. I'm like, all right. I didn't want to stay there, right? When I got there, one of my other friends lived right like 4 houses up. So I went up to their house, knocked on the door. I was like, Jared, I'll give you $300 if you let me stay here, right? He's like, yeah, hell yeah. He lived there with another kid named Jared. Other one's like, well, no, dude. Like, why is he paying you all that money? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. What do you care? Like, what do you care? I got into a fight with him over this. Like, I grew up with both of these dudes.
Right.
So number one, they know but that's what I'm paying you for. That's what I'm paying all the money for.
Right.
So they say no. So I still have a resentment towards them because of what was about to happen. So I end up staying with Neil, right? Mm-hmm. Pass that way. Like he has a person come, we buy dope, crack, you know what I mean? Now, I don't ever take the money out of my pocket.
Right.
I don't ever say, this is where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? None of that. I'm just telling them, like, I got a little bit of money, can you get something? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So we're getting high. I end up passing out or whatever. I wake up and he's tying me up, right? Tying me to this.
And who is this?
This dude, Neil Banky. I would find out way more about him. He wasn't from our neighborhood. He was from Carrick, which is like maybe 10 minutes away, a different part of the city, right? So, and he just showed up out of nowhere.
Right.
And is like wanting to hang out with people. You know what I mean? So it was fishy to me too at the time. But it's like, what do you're.
But he's got some stuff or he can get some stuff.
So he had a dealer that would come right there.
Yeah.
He was living in an abandoned house.
Right.
But it was like not bad though. It was like, there was nothing in it. But like, he's like, you can stay here. I'm like, good. I have nowhere to stay. So I wake up and he's tying me up. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I don't know, like, we were smoking and then we were, like shot the dope, but like, I don't know. I don't know how he knew. He ended up telling on me for this robbery.
Right.
Never told him anything about it, right? But anyway, so he's tying me up. I wake up. We start struggling. He has all the money sitting on the table right over here. I can see it, right? And I try to tackle him. He grabs the money. He's dropping it on the way out while he's running. He's running from me now through the house. The back door is wide open. Runs right through it. I'm running. He's dropping money. I know that's all the money I have. I'm grabbing the money he's dropping because I'm like seeing all of it just gone. You know what I mean? Which is like, I can't tell you how like that's the worst feeling in the world. Like, because you never hit a robbery like that with that much money.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, I had big plans. Like, I'm going to get my life together with this money. You know what I mean? Like, never mind the 18 cases I have open or whatever. But so he gets away, but I think he's dropping money on purpose, honestly, because you're not dropping that much money. He's like dropping a bunch. It ended up being like over $1,000.
Yeah.
So I think he's dropping it to get me to slow down, and it worked. So he gets away. Got me for like, by that point it was probably like $4,000 because we spent a lot getting high.
Right.
Night. So a month later, this is why I read in my paperwork later. He calls. He has a relationship with a detective, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it doesn't say any of this, but I think they set him up in that house and wanted him to set up drug dealers, right? But because he came from Carrick and he set big people up over there, like
right?
Big, like they wanted to kill him. He's dead now. But they wanted to kill him. So I would find all this out later. So I find out that they got a warrant out on me for this one now. And I'm like, how the fuck, who turned me in for this? Because I didn't tell anybody, not one person. Like not many people are running around doing them robberies in my neighborhood, but still, like you can't just assume, you know what I mean? Like this person did it just because he does all the other ones, you know what I mean? But other people, there's people doing one here or there. So anyway, after that, the heat's really getting on me, right? With Butler, most of the time precedent. With the reward, I got like some of not my friends, but like, some associates trying to turn me in, like looking for me, like where's Waldo? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Trying to get this reward money, and they're not even like trying to hide it. It's like a game, you know what I mean? So on the news repeatedly, over and over. And like this one time, I'm staying on the streets all this time, friend's house here and there. We went into West Penn Hospital, right? Me, two other friends, we had been smoking all night, shooting dope. We would go in there just to like lay down and sleep because they would have like waiting rooms,
Yeah.
If you sleep hot at night, you know how disruptive that can be. Whether you're having trouble falling asleep, you're waking up sweating in the middle of the night, or all of the above, that's where Ghost Bed can help. As the makers of the coolest beds in the world, Ghost Bed is your go-to for cooling mattresses, cooling pillows, and cooling bedding. From their signature Ghost Ice fabric to patented technology that adjusts to your body's temperature, every Ghost Bed mattress is designed with cooling in mind. So whether you want a plusher mattress that cushions your shoulders and hips, or a firm option with exceptional support, your Ghost Bed will keep you cool and comfortable all night long. When you purchase a Ghost Bed mattress, your comfort is guaranteed. You can try out your mattress for 101 nights, risk-free, to make sure it's the right fit for you. Plus, they offer free shipping, and most items are shipped within 24 hours. If you're not sure which Ghost Bed is right for you, check out their mattress quiz. You'll answer a few questions and get a personalized recommendation. Even better, our listeners will get 10% off for a limited time. Just visit ghostbed.com/Cox and use code Cox at the checkout. That's ghostbed.com/Cox and use code Cox for 10% off site-wide.
And no one would be in there, just be like a couple of recliners or whatever. So if you could just sneak past like the front part, get up there, you're good. So we go in there, we're up there like lounging around for hours, and then someone comes in, they're like, you gotta leave, So we all get up. My friend Lou, or my friend Stu gets up, and his crack pipe falls out of his pocket, and it's on the thing, right? Now, keep in mind, I'm on the run heavy at this time. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows it. So they see that crack pipe, and they're like, oh, get against the wall. They're not cops, but they're like, they're wearing uniforms, like hospital security or whatever.
Security, yeah.
So they immediately radio for police backup downstairs, right?
Against the wall.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself,
no,
bro.
The door's closed, right? But I'm closest to the door. There's
right.
one cop by the door. We're all in these chairs. My chair's closest to the door, so I get up. The other two go over with my two friends. Mm-hmm. I try to make a run for it. As soon as she sees the pipe, any radios for the police downstairs. I'm like, I can't go down there. I have to make it up.
Yeah.
So I go, I got my hand on the door, didn't even get to open it, and they were on me, like pulling me away from the door. So they're like, what are you trying to run for? Take me downstairs, all three of us, separate us. They search everything on me, right? They pull out an article that I cut out of the paper about me being on the run, robbery, Craig Laffey on the run, wanted for several robberies, right? Now, I have my last name tattooed on my stomach.
Uh-huh.
They see this. Dude looks at the article. He's like, just closes it, put it back, right? We're sitting there now. I was given my name as Sean Brady, I think then, but they knew that, right? So I'm watching, like they're asking my friends, what's his name? Where does he live? And the same thing. And then there's cops, like altogether, like 10 different cops came through. And they're standing at this window, and I can hear the one cop telling the other one, he was just on the news the other night. I remember, like, he was just on the news. Like, you remember this and that? And then he ended up talking to him, and the other guy talked him into, no, that dude was a juvenile. And he was like, it was for some other case that he was confused about.
Right.
But dude was right. He had to have been, because he was saying, like, he was on the news. I was on the news almost every day. So they end up, we're in cuffs. I'm in cuffs. They're not.
Right.
Actually, I'm in cuffs. They're not. So they take me out, and then we're standing there, right, like about to step onto the paddy wagon. And they're like, all right, take the cuffs off them. Take them off. They're like, you're banned from this hospital. Don't ever come back to this hospital again. They're like, get it. They said to get out of here. And they're like, run. I'm like, you got to tell me twice. I was gone. I couldn't believe that they let me go. So I got away that time.
They told you to run.
Yeah.
So that what they can say, he got away.
Oh, so I ended up getting arrested by CMU police, which is Carnegie Mellon police, which is like, it's not embarrassing because I don't have pride in like my running abilities, but it's like, damn, dude, like CMU is like, they're barely even a police force. It's like a college, it's like a little college, So I was stealing bikes over there, and they had a sting operation because there's so many bikes were getting stolen.
Right.
We would steal 5, 10 a day.
Right.
And we had people that would buy them right away. So, and we were given very favorable prices because we're just trying to get high real quick. So I go over, I got my bolt cutters, I cut, and I should have known, like, this is a little bit too good. It was like a $3,000 bike by itself on this rack with a $80 lock on it. That right there is like, someone would have stole it already, or that person's not going to be that dumb to have that cheap of a lock on that bike. But, you tell yourself what you need to, because you're trying to get better. So I cut the lock, got on the bike, and I see them coming as I'm getting on it, but I'm on a hill. So I swerve around them, going down the hill. It just started a chase that lasted probably like 15 minutes in real time. And this dude would not give up. He would not give up. I ended up losing the bike. I'm running on foot. Got onto a roof at a certain point, climbed up a fire escape, was on a roof. Thought I was good. I was like prepared to lay there for like 3 hours. But then they had a helicopter. I don't even know if it was for me.
Right.
But like I'm looking, there's nothing, but it's like the roof was like a black top, and I got a white shirt on or whatever. And I'm like, there's no trees or nothing. Like they're going to see me. It probably wasn't for me, but it's like, I don't know. So I end up getting down. Dude, they catch me. Dude would not give up. I mean, he would, like, at first, like when I got by him, he was like this, grab me. And then I had so much distance between them. I couldn't believe I got caught, but I got caught, get arrested. And then I'm going ping ponging from county to county, right? Because I got,
multiple charges,
some I haven't even been arraigned on. Yeah. Like the pizza outlet, all that stuff. So I start, Beaver sentences me first. So they give me a plea offer first. It was 11.5 to 23 county time, right? Like, great.
11.5 months.
Yeah, because I had no adult felonies yet.
Yeah.
But as soon as I took that, now I do for the other ones.
Yeah.
Because they happened chronologically. Yeah. So as long as they happened after that Beaver one, they can use that against me.
Right.
I didn't know that really at the time. You know what I mean? I'm just hearing 11.5, 23. So I take that. So I do that time. Then I go to Allegheny. So I have Allegheny and Beaver left. So I have 4 in Allegheny, 1 in Beaver. The one, or all of them, they end up revoking all the bonds on them, right? Obviously. So I consolidate them all in front of one judge in Allegheny, because I had 4 judges, all that stuff. So it was down to 2 judges. There's Judge Cash and Judge Nauhaus. Now that's like night and day. One is like has a reputation for murdering people.
Right.
And the other one is like the drug court judge.
Right.
You know, even though I'm not going for drug court, you know, he understands. You know. So this girl says she'll get me a lawyer, and I'm talking to someone at the records office I knew, and asked her who would be a good lawyer for him for Nauhaus. So she gives me the name of this idiot. This dude was such an idiot, but he was the right lawyer to get because they were like super cool. This dude was such an idiot. He was like, he couldn't even, I mean, he couldn't do anything. The simplest task, right? So I hire him. At the same time, Butler comes with a 15 to 30, right? Was the first plea, 15 to 30 years. And there was 9 charges. Like they were just putting anything on it.
Right.
Like it was just crazy originally. So what happened, I didn't know this, but Nauhaus brings me in front of him for the 4. And he's like, do you want to plead out to these now? And do you want to go to Butler after? He's like, because they're going to sentence you consecutively. I'm just telling you that.
Yeah.
He's like, so I'm like, well, I would rather like have it run concurrent. He's like, well, then you can't get sentenced here first. He's like, so I know how they are. Mm-hmm. They're going to really hammer you. He was right. And like, he had no business doing that. You know, I wrote him a letter later, like thanking him, but he had no reason other than he didn't like Butler. He like fucking hated the way they treated people, I guess, or whatever. Right. So he's like, I'm going to do that. You know, if you postpone it down here, and then they're going to run out of postponements. They're going to have to do something, right? He didn't say he'd run it consecutive. Right. But that's, or concurrent, but that's kind of what I took from it. So I end up going up there. Butler, they were pissed, but then they ended up offering me they said the last one was a 10 to 20. That's the last offer we're going to give you. Now, Jade let Jamie out of jail to come and find me when I was out. Like, you know, now they don't need both of them to snitch either. So now my brother is getting nothing out of it. You know, now they're just going all with him. So I say no to the 10 to 20, right? And they're like, we're going to trial. I'm like, all right, well, because I want to make him get on the stand. You know what I mean? Because people are saying, he's telling people, I'm not, blah, 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 you know what I mean? It's like, no, you are. I got the paperwork, and I'm going to make you testify if that's what you're going to do. So he ends up, they get to my trial date the day before, because they moved me up there like 3 days before.
Like 5 to 10?
No, 3.5 to 7.
Nice.
Yes.
And absolutely. How long you've already done? What, 6 months in jail?
They wouldn't take that because what happened. So I get the 3.5 to 7, right? I signed for that. They're like, okay, sentencing 3 months, right? So then I go back to Allegheny. Nauhaus does the biggest miracle in the world. Like, this is uncalled for what he did, but he gave me 15 to 30 months, right? Time served. The reason he picked 15 is because I had 15 months total for everything, you know. Right. Including before the bond outs and everything. So it's 15 months. So he's knowing, like, I'm going to give you time served on this, and then you have to start fresh up there. But, you know, this is 4 robberies and everything. Yeah. So he does that, immediate release, and then 7 years probation. So I go back to the jail after. I'm happy as hell. And then they're like, the next day, they call me to go to Western. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Did you know there was a charge in Western?
No, Western Penitentiary, right? Oh. So I didn't,
pretty fast.
He didn't know that he can't give a 15 to 30 month sentence and an immediate parole. You can't do that. You have to see the parole board. Anything over a year, you have to see the parole board. Okay. So the judge can't just say, all right, but you're automatically. So he didn't know that. So instead of just letting it go, he brings me back the next day, gives me 9 to 18 months. Maxes it out. I don't know if he did this on purpose or not. No probation, no fines, no cost, nothing. It was only 4 people in the courtroom. Me, him, my lawyer, and the person typing.
He's really going way out of his way.
Oh, my God. I was like, you know, I wrote him a letter later when I was clean for years and like telling him, like, my kids wouldn't have a father at all if it wasn't for you. And I know, like, I told him, like, I know you probably get jaded because you do this for people and it doesn't work out. But, like, it worked out for me. You know,
that's nice.
So,
that's good.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing, which was crazy, is Butler the whole time maintained $100 bond on my case because whenever I got arraigned, they're like, he got 7 detainers, like just whatever, $100 or whatever it was. It was like a low bond, but they never adjusted anything. So whenever Nauhaus closed everything out, all I have is $100 bond in Butler.
Keeping you in jail.
Keeping me in jail.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh my God, I can get out before sentencing, right? I got like exactly 2 months. So they transfer me up there. I have it arranged already. And this is when Big Earl told me about my dad. I go up there and I'm waiting for her to bond me out. And I was on the same unit with Big Earl. But she pays the bond at night. And then they call me, have me get changed. And then the bondsman, I can hear him. He's like, I can't do this bond right now. He's like, this is a clerk of court's bond. I have to wait until the morning. Like, how the fuck didn't you know that? Anyway, but I don't believe it. I'm like, he's lying. You know, he's like just saying that. Now they're going to go. Apparently it was the truth because the next morning, he brought me out. Yeah. Right. And the girl that I had was working, so she couldn't come get me. I ended up leaving with this dude from Butler. I guess he was like white dude, sold dope. Him and his girl both got arrested coming back from Philly, coming into Butler and got arrested with a bunch of dope. But he was like real desperate, was real sick, you know. So he ended up, we were sitting there getting processed for like an hour. So we're talking the whole time. We get out first. His girlfriend wasn't out yet, but he's like, I need to get some dope, like, you know. And his connect was in Philly and he was sick as fuck. So he ended up wanting like, I don't know, 12 bricks, which is like, that's a lot of dope. Mm-hmm. But I ended up making $3,000 off it. Like I didn't even have to burn them or anything, you know, like if normally I would have just burned them, but it was like much easier to just do it, make $3,000. So then now I'm out with 2 months. I took a bundle out of his dope. I start doing it.
Right.
And then I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going to go right to jail. Like before I even get sentenced. So I went to rehab while I was in that 60 days, like in the beginning of it.
Right.
Which is like, those days are precious, but like I knew I had to. I went and did like 10 days in rehab, got myself straight, got back out, partied a little bit, drank and stuff leading up to my sentencing.
Right.
But didn't do any dope. And then the day before, I actually saved the dope I had like 6 bags left or whatever. The only time in my life I've ever saved dope. Normally I can't save it till the morning.
Right.
You know, like I'll know I need something for the morning, but it's like I'll do it the night before, like everyone does. You know, you can't help it. But I saved that to take into jail with me and I wanted to do some on the way up there. So that way I wouldn't have a habit. So I load up, like, you know, up my ass with all this. Yeah. It wasn't fun. It was my first time doing it.
The old prison purse.
Wouldn't be the last time, but you know, I had to learn, like, you had to really bust it down and make it tight, you know, because, you know, you can't fit that much up there. But I ended up getting a lot in there. I got like some Xanax, some dope, a bunch of bud, a bunch of tobacco, you know. But it lasted like 4 days.
2 cell phones, a charger.
No, none of that. No, but yeah. So they ended up beating the shit out of me.
Why?
Jail. Oh, Butler County, them guards up there, they're all just big white dudes.
Yeah.
You know, and like I love the Butler County inmates because they'll fight too. Them white dudes up there will just rumble. They rumble each other. They love it. But they knew I brought something in, right?
How?
People tell, you know,
right.
It's like there's no cigarettes or anything around, and then you come and turn yourself in for a 4-year sentence, and there's everywhere now. People were, you know,
right.
So, but I never would keep it with me. I'd pay someone else to keep it or whatever. Right. So they come grab me, make me sit on a bucket till I have to poop, right?
Right.
Because they think I have it up there. So I poop. There's nothing in there. They put me back in like an hour after they put me back in. They were smart because they knew I was going to get it, you know, and do something else with it. And they ended up getting, I don't know if they had someone telling on me on the block, like, you know, whatever. But they grabbed me when I had it, but it wasn't anything illegal at that point. All the drugs were gone. It was just tobacco,
right,
lighter or whatever. So
it's just contraband.
They beat the shit out of me. And my brother's in the jail at this time because he's waiting to go upstate. You know, his sentencing just happened. So he can hear them. They took me, like, Butler was like old sliding, you know, bars and everything. They took me to this they beat the shit out of me so bad I couldn't walk or anything. They took me down to this dungeon. It was like there was 2 cells. There was no beds. It was just a raised metal slab. Mm-hmm. And then outside there's like the bars, and then there's a stool with a radio, and they'd only play country music. And there's like 5 country songs I like. But
they weren't playing.
No. Even if they did, this is like 24 hours a day country. It's like I already want to. So, like, please, like, just I would literally beg them, like, change the station. They're like, no, motherfucker, we ain't. No, be happy you're even listening to them. Like, no radio's better,
right?
You know, so they play the same shit over and over. So anyway, I end up I get through that. They really did fuck me up though. Them guards are fucked up. It's a different jail now, but so then from there I go to Western Penitentiary. Get quarantine, which is like a week. My first experience there was like rats and shit. Like the quarantine cells are like this big, literally. It's like you can touch every wall, and the rats would jump on you. If you were on the riverside, there would be these rats, and they would get on you, even if you didn't have no food in there, because you didn't get that much food. You weren't saving food, and they would eat your tobacco. Because like the first thing you're down are people are giving you cigarettes because you haven't smoked or whatever. But so I was down there for like a week, then went to Camp Hill to get my number. That's where you get classified at in state. So I had an FT 9331 number. So then after I'm at Camp Hill was the worst too. It's just terrible. But you're hoping to get a jail close to you. You're hoping to get a minimum or a medium.
Close to your family.
Yes. I never even considered that they might send me to Graterford, right? Mm-hmm. All I'd ever heard about Graterford, I knew it was by Philly. I knew it was a max. He had a death row there, and I knew it was like supposedly one of the worst or the worst. So when you go, the way you find out is you call the property, and then you see your box, and it has 3 letters on it. Whatever letters they are correspond to whatever jail you're going to. So they don't even tell you, you just have to look for them letters, because they don't want you to have someone fucking.
They think somebody's going to they think on the bus or on the van on the way there, they're going to. Yeah, like you're going to have it. Yeah.
They broke him out. Yeah. No one's doing that for me. I can promise you. No one loves me that much.
A helicopter come down and attach a big magnet to the van and lift it up and take it out. Like, who do you think I am, bro?
Believe me, no one would do that. No one would even fucking bail me out half the time. Yeah, right. So anyway, I get up. So I was terrified, honestly. Just like, why? No, it's because of all the violence. Like, I didn't hurt anybody, but every robbery is violent in nature. It's a violent crime, you know. So they end up sending me to Graterford. I get up there, and it's just chaos immediately. It's just like, I remember they're classifying you, they're talking to you, and they asked me, is this your first time ever in prison? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, they're talking to each other, and they're like, well, we're not going to send you to D block then, and then and the lady's like, yeah, we'll send them over to the new side or whatever. And then they're looking, they're like, oh, there's no cells on the new side. He can go to D block. And I'm like, what are you talking? You just said I couldn't go to D block, and everyone there is telling me like, no, you're good, bro. You're good.
They're going to say that no matter what. They don't want to hear any shit.
Yeah. I walk on the D block, and it was like nothing I've ever seen before. It's like the cells or the tiers there, it's 2 rows high. Like Western would be like 8 rows, but not as long, nowhere near as long. These, it would be like 100 yards of just 1, 2, and then there'd be a guard bubble, big guard bubble where all the guards go, really where they stay. They don't walk around too much. And then another one of those. Now, the back of that second one is like Harlem in the fucking 20s. It's like you don't go back there unless, you're supposed to be back there.
Right.
And you can handle being back there. And I didn't know nothing about that. Now, I was in the first part, though, thankfully. So, because like I didn't know anybody there. Nobody. Like, I have a bunch of friends that are in, but just none of them go to Graterford. I ended up, it was the best thing going to that jail, honestly, because anywhere close to home, like I cannot be in anything outside. Right. When I'm doing that time, like I want to be in the jail. That's all I live in. Like I'm, like I don't want to know what's going on in Hollywood. Everything's dead to me.
Right.
It doesn't exist, So right away I got on, when I walk on D block though. You ever see the beginning of Lean on Me?
Yeah.
With Welcome to the Jungle, and that's playing. And there's like people hanging on shit and smoking crack, and like that's what it was when I walked on. It was like unbelievable, no exaggeration. I didn't see no one spray painting the walls, but like I wouldn't have been surprised. It would have fit right in.
Well, you described it. It makes. At first, I was thinking the beginning of Shawshank, where they just got the row after row after row.
Them guards would never disrespect you like that there, ever. I've never seen a guard talk to anyone bad there because them Fruit of Islam dudes or FOI dudes. Mm-hmm. I was there maybe 2 weeks whenever they threatened or they said they were going to take out our movies, right? Because every state, PA state, would have their own prison like movie channel, and then we would you'd have our movies when they come out. So and now Graterford has like around 4,000 inmates, right, in the jail,
Right.
up to 4,000. It is 95% African American. It was like 90% African American, like 8% Puerto Rican, and then there's like a mixture of white childers and some Asians and whatever. You know,
Right.
not many white dudes from Pittsburgh there at all. It was like a few of us that you know could handle themselves, and then you know, so I just grouped up with them, but. They threatened to take these movies. They said they gave us a deadline. They sent a thing out saying like it's programmatically, you know, DOC's taking out all our movies. Now there's so many lifers in there, like so many. That's like they're never going to see a titty again. Is basically what you're telling them.
Yeah.
Because all the porn's been removed, you know. So, and they would roll out like this over anything that was significant.
Yeah.
Hunger strike. Everyone in the jail needs to participate unless you have like a medical thing. You know what I mean? And they would send the word out, and it's like, I'm doing whatever you tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm new, I'm not. And the first day when I go to my cell assignment, I bring my card in, and they send me up to second tier, and it was a homosexual white dude, like a flamboyant, like he was the bottom or whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't care, but it's like I'm not going to be in that cell because, you know,
Right. Yeah.
then you get looked at that way.
Now you're associated with this guy, and everybody
Yes.
thinks that you're.
And I actually was cool with some of the, you know, they called them sissies or whatever.
Yeah.
I was cool with some of them.
punks.
Yeah,
Sissies or punks.
yeah. But they would get married up there. They would marry dudes. Yeah, they'd have
full blown
weddings in New York. Yeah,
Yeah.
with, like,
Walking the
veils
track,
and
holding their
shit.
holding hands, and the
yeah,
whole thing.
dudes
Right.
fighting to the death over other guys.
Yeah. Oh, they had they would have like karaoke night, and
They would have talent contests, and these guys would get up and sing. Sing karaoke
Like drag queens.
I
and
mean,
shit.
or do full blown Michael Jackson with the moonwalking and the whole thing.
Dude. Yeah, so that I wouldn't lock up, you know, just because like I'm not starting like this. Right?
Yeah. This
So-
is not going to be good. I got to be here for 4 more years. Wait, was it 4?
Yeah, 3.5 to
Yeah,
7.
yeah.
So they're like, well, you're going to the hole. You know, if you don't lock up, you're going to the hole. So I'm like, all right, take me to the hole. Luckily, there was a black dude named Jihad. Same situation. He just got there on a violation, new case or whatever, and they were trying to put him in with a black dude that was gay. And he's like, bro, I'm not racist. I got my own money. You just want to move in together? Moved right in with him. Was in there the whole time until I had to leave that unit to go to Jericho and outside. But like, they don't mix the races up there.
Right.
You have to request it and you have to write it up, like saying I'm okay with, you know. So me and him got in together. It was like I had a couple fights up there, but they weren't anything crazy. Nothing else was connected to it. One guy touched my foot one time, right? Because I would never wear like sandals or anything. Like I always wore boots, you know what I mean? But dude would come in to talk to Jihad or whatever. This dude was huge. Like I would see him lifting. His name was Cleve. He was a fucking monster, right? And I'd start talking to him, like getting cool, but I don't know what he's there for. I don't know nothing about him.
Right.
But he's there for life, for murder, whatever. And he touched my foot one time. I was on the top bunk. He touched my foot. He was like, "You got cute feet."
Oh,
Right?
no.
So what are you gonna do in that situation?
Yeah.
So-
me, I'm probably not gonna fight, but I'm probably gonna be like, go fuck yourself. I'm start fucking yelling at least throw a fucking scene.
So I was shocked, dude. I was like,
I'm shocked that he would do that in the other guy's cell.
Yeah.
Because it's disrespectful
Exactly.
to him.
but Jihad would not say anything. I'm like, we talked about it after, but like he did that, and I was like, I sat up real quick because he would have murdered me.
Yeah.
Murdered me. But you're gonna murder me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that.
We're not
you're-
not swapping spit and walking the track.
No, I'm
holding
not
hands.
afraid of death like
Yeah.
that. You know, you're just gonna kill me. So I'm like, don't ever touch me, dude. Don't ever fucking touch me. And then he was like, he didn't get aggressive or anything. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro." But I find out later he's a booty bandit.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
Most of the people up there weren't getting raped. They were getting fucked. 'Cause they wanted to get
that's,
fucked.
that's everybody always asks that about prison.
But there
Is that
was,
true?
yeah,
Is
there was
that
a few dudes that you would hear like they get their eye on someone and they're gonna go until they get that person. one way or another.
It's funny because I've never, I out of the medium and the low, like I'd never seen that. You hear about it,
Yeah.
but you mostly hear about it in state prison, where
Right.
you've got violent guys that are also sadistic.
Yes.
They have real mental problems.
They would get the guard to move the dude in the cell without their permission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's,
They would like, whether they're cool with them or they'd pay them or something. Now, you're just, one day you pack your shit up. Where am I going?
yeah.
No, I'm not. Because you're either going to go to the hole.
Yeah, I'll go
or
to the-
you're-
then I'll go to the shoe.
Exactly. So after I said that, he was like, oh, my bad, bro. And Jahal was like, don't ever fucking come in here. And then he told me after, he was like, I can't, I wasn't going to say nothing until you said something.
Right.
You got to stick up for yourself. But, because they were all Muslims.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was like, fucked up about that. But
Yeah, I don't think the other Muslims would
No.
be okay with it either.
No. So
She's just trying. You know?
and that's like one of them stereotypes. Like I got so cool with Jihad and a couple of the other dudes in there.
Yeah.
And then I just dug in. I started writing a lot. That's where I really got into writing, where I really like started forming some of my stuff. And on the boxing team, now there wasn't the official boxing team up there. Like when Bernard Hopkins was there, that's where he went, did his time.
Right.
Where boxing changed his life. They took all the intramural boxing out, so you couldn't go to other jails and box. But they still had an unofficial boxing team that like the inmates would run. Because there was dudes there that were fucking amazing. Like they would have been world champions probably 3 times over, but they were a lookout on a murder for someone when they were 17. And they're never getting out. You know what I mean? So I got into that, into writing, working out, like heavy. And then I would play poker. I was really good at poker. Like I learned real fast. I can support myself doing that. Got the Jericho because I was mandated to do it PVTC. It's fucking ridiculous. The most ridiculous. It's supposed to be like a program where you're like holding people accountable. Tucking your shirt, Matt.
Yeah.
I seen Matt without his shirt tucked in.
Yeah.
So you have
It's RDAT. It's the RDAT program. It's the
you have like an encounter group where you're sitting there with someone that's a murderer and you're going like, hey, dude, like you didn't wash your utensils right the other day.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you
So
need
would
to shut the water off when
Right.
you brush your teeth because it's better for the environment. Shows that you're
Right.
selfish and you don't care about the other people.
These dudes would get caught up in it. Like these gangster dudes.
Yeah.
Like they would go in and I would tell everyone, just write your boys up.
Right.
Make an agreement. We're gonna write each other up, one person would write them up, and I'm gonna get that motherfucker. And then it would just be So I ended up doing that. I got finished that and then applied for pre-release. Now you can't get pre-release with a violent crime now. I was one of the last people to get it. The counselor wouldn't even put me in for it. I had to go to a different counselor and ask them to, because he was like, you're not gonna get it. And I'm like, man, just put the fucking papers in.
Right.
I ended up getting it. So as soon as I got it, they moved me outside. Outside Greaterford is a farm. So it's all it's huge, but the inmates, that are outside that have pre-release status working, a lot of them are child molesters because they can't get home plans.
Right.
They're already paroled, but there's nowhere they can live that's acceptable.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting, sitting there maxing out their sentence because there's no beds in halfway houses.
But what, do they work in the farm?
Yeah, we all would work on the farm. I used to drive a tractor by myself, like me and like 4 or 5 other guys. We would wear grays.
Right.
And like there's a brown shirt dude that's like a regular worker type dude. That's your boss or whatever. And I guess he was a guard at some point. But we had backhoes. We would fucking, I learned how to do all that shit there. That was the first place I drove. Because they put me on the tractor after this one dude left. I'm like, I don't know how to fucking drive. We used to ride it into the jail, get all the compost, put it on, and then we have to go through the gate and they have to stick things through all of it, make sure no one was hiding in it, and then we take it out and make compost of it. But we had a little setup that like we would spend a lot of our time at during the day. It was like no brown shirt there. We would have to grow all our own vegetables. And then like the one dude was from Philly, so he had people bringing them in stuff and just throwing it in the woods. And then he'd spend 3 days looking for it, but he'd find it, you know what I mean? And then it wasn't bad. But I would never do drugs because I was worried always about getting a urine test, you know what I mean? So I never had a problem saying no when I was in there. But I ended up making pre-release. They closed Western Penitentiary, but they made it a pre-release center, right? So I got sent there, and that I got put there with some guys that I didn't know, but that knew a lot of people from my neighborhood. Long story short, I ended up staying clean for the next couple of years, but I started selling drugs, and I made a ridiculous amount of money in like a year.
Right.
Just I had, because this dude I was in there with, I didn't know it, but everyone was like trying to get at him because he was, he'd just come back from upstate. It was like his first time ever getting caught. But he was like a real, real big time dude. I didn't know. I just got cool with him. And, so my one friend, Joey, the first dude I did dope with, he was just selling crazy amounts of coke. And he asked me for some reason, like, did you find any hookups up there? Because he said he was just getting shit and it was hard to make it stretch. So I started, long story short, started getting it for him. And I would make $2,500 every time. So he would get, if he would get 9, I would charge 95. I would pay 9. So I'd make 500 there. And then my dude would bring me 11 instead of 9. So instead of bringing, he would make the original 9 ounces into 11, just putting cut on it.
Yeah.
And then I would give Joey the 9. I would still have 2 extra. I would sell them for $1,000 a piece. I would have it for 20 minutes. I'd already have it arranged to sell the 2.
Right.
So making $2,500. Then we started doing 18 at a time. I'm making like $5,000. Just stacked money up, crazy. And then Joey got busted. He was just doing too much activity. He got busted after like a year. And then, I was worried. He never told on me. He did his time. His family was caught up in it and everything. He had every reason to, but he didn't. So I quit though. And I ended up selling him the Connect. But he could never get a deal worked out or whatever after that. But I was out of it, but not getting high. But you can't do that stuff and like it not fuck with you whenever you're a drug addict, like you're selling all that drug, you know what I mean? So eventually I'm not working because now money means nothing to me. I've just made all this money so easily and go to the Super Bowl or like I had 1,000 pair of shoes. I would pay for my mom's wedding. I was just doing, money meant nothing. I couldn't go work a job and make $20,
Right. So what kind of money are you making a month at this point, though? What's it bringing in? Like,
we were doing
about 20,000 a month or 10,000 a month, or
so we would do like at 18 a week. So that would be $5,000 right there for me.
Right.
So that's what,
Just
20
like 20 grand a month.
But then we started after a while. If my dude would do it, we would do a whole one. He just wouldn't do a whole one at once. He would he'd break it up. But that's that, you know what I mean? That's, what's that, 20 grand in one thing right there, dude. So
Tax-free.
I had a Vidal Sassoon thing.
tax-free means a lot.
Oh yeah, dude. I had this Vidal Sassoon box, and my mind was so little. I was so young and immature. Even though I was 27, I didn't know what I could even do with this money. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking big at all. I'm thinking like I could buy anything I want, and the biggest thing I want is a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I should have been buying property. Didn't matter because I would have lost it all later when I started using anyway. But everything turns into heroin coupons. You know what I mean? Like for real, dude. It's like
horrible.
Oh, you spend 10 years like getting this stuff. Like this pair of Jordans. It's like there's only 200 of them. It's nothing but a heroin coupon.
Yeah.
Whenever you relapse, you have no problem. Like what are you gonna give me for it? You know? Oh, I've done that. So yeah, H coupons. Yeah. Dope. Oh man, I've done that so many times. It's so demoralizing. I'll never do that again. Like I have kids, right? I don't. You seem like you enjoy life.
Yeah.
I've gotten to a place. Where I don't enjoy life anymore.
Why?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I'm just like, I never feel interested. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, life's so good, bro.
I've always felt, even when my life was bad, I enjoyed living it. But
Right.
if it wasn't for my kids, like if you took my kids away and my life was as it is, my life is great right now. But
Yeah.
I would probably kill myself. Honestly, it's probably, I never told anybody this.
Yeah, that's horrible.
But that's just,
horrible.
I don't know what happened to me. Like
Maybe your what are the synapses or
Yeah,
I forget
or burnout and stuff, yeah.
the Jess might.
I've been clean for a while though.
Because you have to think, Jess,
Yeah.
my wife's
Right.
it's all ice, and ice
Yeah.
is
Yes,
horrible.
I
Like
know.
it takes years. Matter of fact, she
to
even
feel pleasure and stuff. Yes.
right. She even takes medication that supposedly is good to try and rebuild
Right.
or heal. That like not medicine from the doctor. She takes all kinds of
Yeah,
like,
right.
this is
Yeah,
fish scales. And it's like, what are you doing? No,
Yeah,
we're not. Don't
right,
give me any more
right,
fish scales.
Right.
No, it's good for your whatever.
Yeah.
Stop. But yeah, because it's funny, even in the halfway house, like when I first met her, I noticed she's it's like if here's normal for somebody, she's as far as enthusiasm,
Right.
she seems slightly below that.
You're definitely right though about the drug thing. That drug in particular.
Yeah.
That'll change
Yeah.
for her. Yeah.
It's been what, years, right?
Yeah.
So it's been is it 10 years now for her?
Okay.
Maybe no, because she did 3 about 4 years in prison.
Yeah.
She's probably, if she is, it's probably run up on 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because like I have when you think about like if I talk to normal people
Right.
that have things that they do, like if they have families, right? Like you've got your kids, so you have interest in your kids. Sean G, right? Totally into his son doing all the sports, and like his whole life is helping support his son's I want to say baseball. Yeah. And you have friends that they all have interest. Wade's got a whole thing on doing well, one, he's got his podcast, but he also loves the mob stuff, right? He goes to mob.
I think the problem
WWE.
Yeah, I was a dad full time.
Yeah.
Right. So I had my daughter's mother has been clean for like 15 years. We've never been together after, we were like running partners. But my son's mother, we lived together for 7 years, and my daughter was always there. So I was a dad every day, daily, on a daily basis for years. And then it just stopped. And then it was like a weekend dad or whatever.
Yeah.
But now my kids are teenagers. I have fucking great kids.
Yeah.
Like really great, well-adjusted kids. But, like they don't need much from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
what else? Sports. Like some people get
Yeah.
interested in sport. No sports.
No, I have interest like writing. I definitely do a lot of writing, but I get carried away. Like sports cards, I probably spent over $200,000 on sports cards in the last 2 years.
Right.
And it does something for me in the moment.
Yeah.
But now I have all these sports cards I got to sell to like get the money back. It's crazy, dude. Like I get addicted to things, but like the last few years have just been different because I was in a bunch of relationships, never really great ones, but like my last one, I at least like had a friendship thing where it could have worked if I would have been different, and same with her, but like I just can't find anything that's meaningful to me. And I feel like I'm broken like that. You know what I mean?
You gotta find something.
Yeah, I feel like stakes mean nothing.
Yeah.
But to everyone else, they mean a lot. Like when I lost my job as a program manager and really left, like I didn't have to lose it, but like I'd built that up for years. Like from being clean, I started working in shelter as just a homeless in a homeless shelter, one of them, and then I built that up. And running that shelter. Then I was running all the shelters in Pittsburgh and McKeesport. Then I was running all the shelters plus running 4 other programs, right? To the point where when I resigned, they cut that position in half, right? Because I was doing so much, but none of it meant shit to me. I have like some pride that I could do that, and I could but just not. I don't know that. And I don't like go around talking about it. I go to NA meetings and stuff. I talk about a lot of stuff in there, but I just can't be real about like how I feel about life because it ain't right. My life should be great right now. I should feel great about it. And I'm never going to do nothing to myself because of my kids. Like I never would, never in a million years. But like, who wants to like live like that? And it's like, I'm not miserable to be around. I'll never put it on other people.
Right.
So no one would know it. But it's just at the end of the day, I go home sometimes and it's just like nothing around me means anything. I'm gonna get a dog. Maybe that'll help.
Maybe.
I had a dog for a long time. I love my dog, but just, and I'm gonna do.
Are you looking for something to make? But it seems because you got to be okay with you.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, I thought I was a bad person forever. Like inherently a bad person. You probably went through this too.
Oh, of course.
Where and
still not positive about it.
Right. Yeah. Because of some of my instincts right away is just like not always to do the right thing.
I can't go with the first instinct.
Right.
I got to step back and go.
Right. I've accepted.
I might be wrong.
I've accepted that I'm not a terrible person. I think I am a bad person on some levels, but I'm also like, I can control being a good person, and it isn't hard for me to be a good person most of the time. That's important.
It's funny because I'm more concerned about doing the right thing.
Right.
But doing the right thing doesn't necessarily mean that it's in my heart to do the right thing. It's like
you want it to be though.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, so if I see garbage on the ground and I'm walking, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I'll pick it up and I'm pissed.
Right.
I got to pick this garbage up. I got to go throw it in this. I got to walk another block before there's a little doggy garbage can.
Right.
Throw it in here. These motherfuckers, but the truth is that most people, I think that they just walk by.
Oh,
They feel like they're good
Yeah,
people.
right.
Well, no, I'm a good person, but you walk by the garbage.
Right.
I pick the garbage up. I bitch and moan the whole time.
Right.
I only do it because I think that's what a good person would
Right,
do.
right.
But in my heart, I want to walk by.
But I think that is the real.
know?
That's the reality of it. Whereas other people aren't doing it, but they're thinking I'm a good person because I do all this other stuff. Like, I think acknowledging that you don't want to do it and it's not inherently, but doing it is what probably makes you a good person.
I
because
think
you care about it.
I think I'm just. Listen, some chick was the other day. I went and drove somewhere. This is when Jess was going. I had the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because we share a vehicle. Well, we don't share it. It's her vehicle. I drive it when she's gone. So I drove somewhere. Oh, I think it was to work out. Worked out. And there was a car on the side of the road. Did I tell you this? There was this chick on the side. I didn't know it was a chick.
Right.
It was just some car with the blinkers on. I could tell the tire was fucked up. Though.
Right.
And so I drove. I go all the way to the gym. I go to the gym, come back, and it's not like I'm doing a fucking amazing routine program. I'm there 30 minutes. It's the most pathetic routine.
30 minutes can do a lot. Yeah.
Jump in the
depending
car,
on-
come back. As I come back, I see the vehicle's still there, and somebody's inside it. I just can't see who. So I turn around. I go back. I pull up, get out. She opens the door, leans out. I said, hey, do you need someone to change the tire? She says, no. She said, roadside's coming. They're already stopping.
Yeah.
They're going to be here, and they'll be here in 5 minutes. Don't even worry about it. And I went, okay, cool. Listen, I was like, thank God I don't have to change this fucking chick's tire. Motherfucker.
Does it matter to you what the girl looks like? Because that matters to me.
No.
I wish it didn't. For real.
This is some fucking
For
chick.
real. Yeah.
I got my car, but I got my car and I left.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I stopped because I thought that's what a decent person does.
Right.
But I don't want to change that tire.
Right.
I don't want to do. I'm just stopping because I'm thinking, fuck it.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to be sitting at home thinking, what I should have done the right thing.
Right.
I should have this. I should have. But the truth is, I don't want to do it. It's
But
in my
yeah.
heart to do that. I don't want to stop.
That's
fuck
that's
her
where I'm
problem.
at. I'm at the same place with you, where being a good person matters to me, right? But
Well, trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, trying to
I would
right-
like
yeah.
to be a good person. I'm
Right.
really at this point. I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Right.
But being a good person, I don't know if that's really going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think trying to do the. I think
the muscle memory of it, I think,
yeah.
makes
I'm
you
just
a good
trying
person.
to do the right thing.
Right.
It's like, look,
Yeah.
like if there was money on the table,
Right. I got you.
I'd like to walk away with that money.
yeah.
But what's the right thing to do?
Right.
And I think, okay, the right thing to do is you call somebody, you say, hey, there was money on the table. There was a wallet.
Right.
Here's the wallet. I found it over there. I'm really thinking, fuck, there was $4,000 in that fucking wallet. I'd leave. Fuck that dude. That's his fucking problem.
That action is making you a good person.
I don't know. I still want that. I kick myself just as much for laying in bed at night.
Right.
And not taking the $4,000. Listen, remember the iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, so pissed about this, bro. I was jogging.
Yeah.
So this is how long ago this was.
Actually,
when
I don't know if I remember this.
Oh, I was jogging, bro. Oh no, this is before. So I had, when I got out of federal prison, and we'll go right back to you.
No,
and
you're good,
everybody in the
yeah.
comment that
Yeah.
says, Matt, don't talk about it. Let your guests go.
No, he
let
needs
your
to-
guests
yeah,
talk.
that's-
Fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah, shut
so, but this is, so I the first year I had to see, well, this is how bad this goes. Because I haven't told this story in a long time.
Yeah, please.
So you'll find this funny. Get out of the halfway house. Part of what my judge fucking stuck me with was I had to take a criminal thinking course.
Oh.
So my first probation officer said, okay, you understand you have to take this mental health course, blah, blah, blah. I was like,
The
what?
most useless course in the world.
Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. I never
Yeah.
took it.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what? I was like, no. I took RDAP. I took it.
Right.
She goes, no. She's first of all, she said, you didn't pass RDAP. She's like, secondly, she's like, I saw you entered it twice. You didn't finish. There's no
Yeah.
certificate in here. Did you finish? And I was like, no. But she's like, whatever. She's like, it doesn't matter anyway. You got to take the CAT. It's
Right.
part of your judgment commitment. So she goes, you got to go to the psychiatrist. And I was like, first they tried to make me pay for it. I said, well, I don't have any money. I'm not paying for it.
Right.
And she's like, oh no, you are going to pay for it. And I said, fine. I said, violate. But keep in mind, I'm
They
just,
can do that? They can make you pay for a
yeah,
psychiatrist?
well, I'm just out of the
Yeah.
halfway house.
Right.
I have no money. I'm
Yeah,
living in
right.
this chick's spare room. So I'm ready to go back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could give a
Yeah,
shit.
it's not working that fast. You're
Yeah.
like, fuck it.
And, like, now's the time
Yeah.
to go back.
Right,
Because I'm
yeah.
still thinking maybe if I go back, they'll take me off probation, not realizing that if you owe money, they don't.
Right.
So I was like, oh, well, I don't, well, then you'll have to violate me. She's
Right.
like, all right, well, I'll see if I can pay for it. We can pay for it. I said, yeah, all right. I said, well, you're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, they've figured it out before, I'm sure. Yeah.
So I I meet with the psychiatrist. We have a conversation. We do a little quick conversation. First of all, I thought I just had to fill out some paperwork.
Right.
I filled out the paperwork, give it to her. I said, okay, well, so what is it? It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, fine. And she's like, no, we have to have a session now. I was like, what? She's like, we have to have a session. I was like, all right. So I sit down. I'm like, what's up? So we have this whole conversation, but this is the part that I think where it went wrong. Where we're talking, I'm like, I'm painting, I'm doing this, I'm selling paintings, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm having a conversation. I work for my buddy's gym, but I'm also painting. I'm going through the whole motions. So you have a plan? Yeah, I got a plan. I plan on busting my ass. I'm busting my ass for the next year, see if I put something together. She says, well, what if it nothing? And I've said this to this is if somebody on here has heard me say, hey, you said that when you were in jail. I've said this to multiple people this is just one more. I said this to my probation officer. And I said, yeah, I'm going to bust my ass for the next year. Hopefully I can put something together. And, I'm also writing books. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm going to try and get them all on the internet, trying to self-publish them. And so we're talking. And she says, okay, you keep saying the next year. Like, what if it takes longer than a year? I said, if in a year from now, I said, I'm still busting my ass and I can't pay my fucking bills. And she's like, yeah. I said, I'm going to commit a massive, massive fraud and I'm going to leave the United States. I said, because that's where I fucked up last time. I said, that's
staying.
Yeah.
That's where you fucked up.
And I said, I'm out of here. I said, because I'm not going to fucking struggle the rest of my fucking life. And I just looked at her and she went, I said, are we done? Because it had been almost an hour.
Right,
and I was like, are we done? And because she did the whole thing.
Right.
You feel bad about your crime? No.
Right.
Well, why do you think that is? I said, because I'm definitely on the psychopathic scale or sociopathic scale.
The banking industry.
Yeah, and I'm like, I could give a fuck them. And she's like, okay. She's making lots of notes. So then I get up and I leave. And when I get back home the next morning, it was later in the day. So the next morning I checked my email and there was an email from my probation officer. She says, listen, good news. You don't have to you don't have to go to the Tuesday and Thursday meetings. And I was like, okay, cool. Because the Tuesday and Thursday meetings, it was a booklet. It was just a book you had to pass.
Okay.
So once you were done, it was like 16 weeks.
Right.
There's like 3 months and I'm done. So she says, bad news is you'll be going to the psychiatrist with her for the duration of your probation or until she determines that you have done the equivalent of the class. And by the way, going with her, I had to go through the whole book with her one-on-one. Wow. She's like one-on-one or she was like all the way through till she decides it or till you're off probation in 5 years.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I will never forget the email I sent her back. I said, how bad did I fuck up? I said that I'm now going to have to go to this woman one-on-one.
Right.
And I sent it back to her. She never responded.
Oh, my God.
She was just like,
you gotta
schedule.
Like she's gonna drag out on. You know that.
Well, here's what happens. COVID happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, but it was thank God for COVID. Yeah. So, but it was over a year. But we're going through the book one-on-one.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm pissed that I'm here. When I got out the first year or two, I was very. Everybody said I was aggressive.
Right.
I was assertive. I was aggressive to me means it could be. I'm not going to be violent.
Right.
But yeah, am I upset? Absolutely, I'm upset. I'm talking like this all the right. Yeah. Okay, so what's going on?
Right.
All
short patience.
Short. I got to go. I got shit to do. I'm broke. I have to work 80 hours a week. I need to put something together here. I'm broke.
Yeah.
Like I don't have time to fuck around. So we're going on. So I'm going to my sessions, and she was constantly saying like we were going through the book. Whatever, chapter by chapter. And I'm really honestly not even filling this book out. Right. Like she's like, okay, do these 3 chapters. I'm like, okay. I'm coming back. It's half-assed. She's like, Mr. Cox, can you please? I'm like, I have a feeling I'm never getting out of this.
Right.
So anyway, the point is that one of the exercises was you need to start doing selfless acts. And I'm like,
interesting.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute now. I said, the other day I did this.
Yeah.
I did this. I'm telling her. And she's like, look, I need you to do 10 selfless acts. And I need you to list them and name what they are. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, well, I'm never getting out of this. I'm never going to. What ends up happening is I was jogging every morning. That was clearly 15 pounds ago. So I'm jogging every morning. One day I'm jogging. And as I'm jogging,
I'm coming. I did the whole fucking thing, like whatever it is, a mile or two. And there's a lot of walking. I'm not going to say I jogged the whole time. There's a lot of walking. It was
That's exercise too, though.
So I see a fucking iPhone. This is a brand new iPhone.
Which is $1,300 or $800.
Right.
Yeah.
And I look down and I see it and I pick it up and I look around.
Someone get killed for that in jail.
Oh, well, I'm sitting there looking around and I call my friend Stacy and I said, hey, I just found an iPhone. Like, what do I do? I can't turn it on.
Right.
And she's like, okay, well, don't worry, keep it. She said, somebody will call you. When they figure it out, they'll call you. You can return it.
Right.
And I'm like,
Maybe.
returning it, that's novel.
Yeah.
Okay, that would count as a selfless thing. So I'm jogging. I jog all the way back to the rooming house that I'm staying at. And I'm like a block or two away. I get there. I'm a block or two away and the phone rings. I pick it up, boom, hit the thing, and I go, hello? And she goes, hi, I lost an iPhone. I said, I found an iPhone. And she's like, okay, oh my gosh, can you bring it to me? Where are you? And I go, I name the street. She's like, okay, I'm on such and such street and such and such. And I'm thinking, that's like a mile away. I'm like, okay, well, that's a mile away. It's going to take me at least 15, 20 minutes. I got to jog this.
I got to get to the selfless part.
Right. And I'm like, can you meet me? Okay, so can you come here? She's like, oh, I really can't.
Oh my goodness.
She's, is there any way? I really don't. I don't know where that is. I don't feel. Is there any way you can bring it to me? And I thought, fuck. So I jog all the way back across the street, past the light, do this around here. I get there. This chick is. I'm telling you, she looked like she was like a 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
She's in a vehicle like a Hummer,
Right.
with another chick. She hops out of the Hummer, walks over, and says, and I go, "Hey, here's your phone." She's like, "Oh my gosh, thanks." Turns around, walks back, jumps in the fucking Hummer, closes the door, and drives off in the Hummer. You were in the Hummer. You could have driven the mile.
Right. Yeah.
You have a, now, well, granted, she didn't have a phone, but if somebody had a phone in that car,
Right. But there should have been a parade or something.
there should have been a. Listen.
Yeah. No, I get it. I would have wanted a parade too.
I'm pissed.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. I remember thinking if she offers me like $50 or something for the thing, I thought to myself, I'm not even going to take the money. I'm just going to give her the fucking phone, even though I need the money.
Right.
I'm just going to give her the phone and say, no, absolutely not. I just wanted to do the right thing.
But that's perfect for you.
It was, but I'm supposed to do like fucking 10 of these or 5 of these or something. So I went back, I sat down on the couch.
Yeah.
And she said, did you do any of the selfless? I said, yeah. I said, let me tell you about my selfless thing. So I tell her the whole thing. Boom, boom, boom. Woman got in the car. Boom, drove away. I said, barely said thank you.
Right. Yeah.
It was a half-assed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Thanks.
No, yeah, I need more than that.
Yeah, I was like, boom, boom. I go through the whole thing, and I said, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I said, so I'm done with that.
Right.
That's over. And she went, you had one bad experience. I said,
Right.
It's enough.
Right.
I said, I could have fucking sold that thing.
Right.
I said, my buddy told me he knew a guy that would have given me fucking $300 or $400 for the fucking phone. I should have taken the $300. I said, I'm not doing any more selfless things. Fuck that lady.
I'm with you on that.
And yeah. I still do nice. I'm still nice. I think I do nice.
The fact that you're doing
Matt
it,
does
even
nice
if-
things.
even
Matt
if-
does nice things that for people that they don't even know about.
Right. Well, even if you
And he wouldn't bring that up. He wouldn't bring that up, but I'm
Right.
bringing that up so people
Yeah,
know.
as long as other people will say that about you, like people will not say like that I'm depressed or you know what I mean, because I'm not going to bring that around to other people.
Right.
But maybe in some way that is really limiting my relationships or what I've done is I've talked to my friend about this the other day. I think every year I get closer to having as little number of interactions as possible with still having my life. You know what I mean? And
I'm
it's
gonna say you not want to leave home. You
yeah.
not
And
want to talk.
I was the opposite. You heard about me when I was young. When I was young, I couldn't be at home by myself. Or I needed to be out with my friends, around people. Now it's like, I don't know, man.
I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I don't have a car.
Yeah.
I told you I don't have a car. And it never bothers me.
Right.
I have a car now.
Right.
I haven't left since my fucking well, I think I went to Marshall's. Not Marshall's, it's Michael's.
Okay.
And bought frames because I'm reframing all of these old photographs that my mom left me when she died of family members and stuff.
Right.
But that's what I was gonna say, like I'll find a project.
Right. Yeah. To give yourself meaning.
Yeah. But then I exhaust it.
Right.
and it's out and it's over.
And like
that's
even the
done.
stuff you said about the poems on TikTok, like that's stuff that I haven't thought about. I haven't.
Right.
You
But
know.
you could.
But I think I am
could
gonna,
get into it. Though.
I think I will. I think I will, just because, like, I don't have much ego surrounded with these, but like when I did have them available and they were being consumed on the level that they were, the level of feedback and the level of there's just something that that poems on this stuff do whenever you're reading them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can't be explained. Like the emotion involved. It's very therapeutic, and that's what I did that for a while. I used to work with a therapist, and he would use these as icebreakers in groups of recovering addicts.
Right.
And he would say they would just, a lot of times, like especially on very hard topics like women, on the stuff that they have to do, and just all that stuff that no one wants to talk about. When he started using these as icebreakers in the beginning, he's like, there's never been anything as effective as that. He's like, it opens them up immediately, makes them emotional with something that isn't attached to them.
Yeah.
And then they can, they can give as much as they want about it. But it's just something that, I would like to get it out there more.
Right.
Because I believe in some, like the therapeutic value of creative writing about your experiences, which I'm sure you know about.
Yeah. And Jess writes, I don't know, I always think of it as poetry, but,
Right.
I think they call it now like the spoken word.
Right.
Whatever they're going to call it next month. But, so she does that. She used to write them, and she likes them. I think, and for some reason, I feel like the, people that have had struggles with addiction or currently struggle with addiction, they like them, and especially if it's something about addiction, then they get very interested. They probably share it because she's always sharing me stuff like that, especially if it's like it
inspires them to write about theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She doesn't ever send me anything that she writes anymore because I had no idea that she wrote.
Okay. Yeah. People can be embarrassed about it.
Well, yeah. And then you have to understand who you're dating.
Right. Yeah.
We dated for a little bit. We broke up. I stopped talking to her.
Okay.
Because the whole we're going to remain friends.
No, that's impossible.
Fuck that. We're not friends.
Yeah.
Like I don't want anything to do with it. The moment it's up, we're done.
Yeah.
And she's still trying to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And I can't stop thinking about you. Yeah.
No,
Good luck with that.
There's only one mode.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
So she sent me a poem, and I mocked her. Like she sent me the. Yeah, I remember. It's too. This was funny. I remember where I was. I was sitting in the airport. I was furious because like in the day before I left, that was my Big Herc interview and Soft White Underbelly. So in both those, like I'm agitated the whole time I'm in
Building
California.
Yourself up.
I'm irritated. There's homeless people everywhere. I'm disgusted. I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I can't. None of the stores are open, and so it's a whole fucking thing going on in my head. And so she broke up with me like the day before I left. I'm sitting in the airport, or it was probably a couple days before we left. I'm sitting in the airport. I don't have any idea that she writes poetry or anything.
Right.
Like I've known her for 6 months.
Okay.
Really known her.
Right.
And she just broke up with me for no reason. Sitting in the airport, and I get this fucking rambling thing about love and commitment and not feeling good enough for someone and going on to this, going on. And it's on and on and on. And she just sends it to me.
You didn't think she wrote it either, probably, right?
No, I did kind of, because it was clearly about us and how she felt that she wasn't good enough, and I would go on and find someone else, and I deserved someone better than her.
Imposter syndrome, that type of shit.
And, I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, and I went, the fuck are you doing? What is this supposed to be, a fucking poem or something? Don't fucking send me. Fucking horrible. I mean, she's like opening up to me, and I'm like,
she was probably fucking.
I'm brutal,
raw about that.
So there have been times before where she's been doing something. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, nothing. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, nothing. I was just feeling sad about so and so dying, and I was writing something. What are you writing? She's like, I'm never letting
ever
you
sharing
read
anything with you. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. Just lie or something. Right. Yeah, definitely.
But she loves them.
Right.
Not just her writing them, but she loves other people because of addiction. Anything. Listen, probably the most favorite bands that she loves is like Jelly Roll. And I don't even think it's Jelly Roll's music. It's what he's singing about, and it's his story. Yeah. She loves Post Malone story.
Right.
She loves Jelly Roll's story.
Which
like,
is what they're giving you whenever they're giving you songs.
correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. But if there was somebody who was bullshitting, if it was somebody who was
for
raised
sure.
middle class
Yeah.
and never had any problems and they were just writing a story about something, she wouldn't. It's the fact that what they've been through.
Yeah, I tell people, don't worry about the structure, or is it
Yeah.
because it's up to you. No one will ever read it, but it helps you to write it, to get it out, and to get it out in the form that you want to get it out in, whether it's super creative and you want to structure something that rhymes or just write, in like a journal form. There's something about, and science has made a lot of connections with writing and what it does to your brain for the subject matter. You know what I mean?
In writing in general.
Right.
Listen, you ever have somebody, you're fucking furious and you send them a whole text and then after you read the text, you're no longer angry, and you just erase the text and don't even send it. I didn't need to send it. I needed to get it out, and now I got it out, and that's gone. And I don't need to say that to you anymore because it's not even about saying it to you.
Right.
What was I gonna say? But I same thing when people ask me about doing a YouTube video.
Right.
Yeah, but they're super self-conscious, and I'm like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Do the video because
Right.
you just started a channel. Nobody's watching.
That's what I said. Yeah, I was telling you before.
Nobody's reading it.
Yeah, like you.
And even if you put it out, even if you put your poem, poem out,
Right.
just like what we were talking about,
Right.
but you put it out. If you get an amazing reaction, then you had an amazing impact.
Right.
If you get no reaction, you still got to do it. You still said you did it, and 4 people fucking saw it.
Yeah.
Well, what do you care?
No expectations.
Right.
Which is what I learned.
Right.
Like, what are you doing it for? What
Yeah.
are you putting it out for? So I'll never try to make any money off of it. But I've seen my friends, which I never would have thought they would have been into that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That they've been inspired and then they've written something. And I just tell people, don't give a fuck about what it sounds like, or just let it come out. You know what I mean? I think it's important right now, especially with all the trauma associated with the epidemic, with the opioid epidemic.
Right.
With so many people.
There's always going to be something.
I mean,
since I was in
sure.
junior high, there's always
Yeah.
been some, and there always will be.
Yeah.
There will never be an end or to the war
this
on
life
drugs.
period with the drug addiction and criminal and all that stuff. There's just so much trauma. So much self-inflicted trauma. And then a lot of times trauma coming from outside because you're putting yourself in bad positions. Like women put themselves in terribly vulnerable positions whenever they're using, that they wouldn't normally do. I would be willing to, knowing that I could give up my whole life on a bargain or on a gamble. Can I get away with this robbery? Because I would think like I'm either getting high or I'm going to jail. And either way, I'm set.
Well, what's funny is you're thinking I'm getting high or I'm going to jail, but the truth is, if you walk in the wrong 7-Eleven, that dude sees you coming and pulls that gun. In. You may just be going to the morgue.
Hey, you
know what I'm saying?
You don't understand what misery is whenever like you want to die, but you're too much of a coward to do it yourself. Before I had kids, really had no reason to live, and I had them later. As miserable as I'm not miserable now, but like as empty as I am, I will never go use drugs because that's a different type of misery that I can't handle. Right? Even with kids.
Yeah.
I will go out in a very ugly blaze of glory doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've been close there so many times, and it's like if I've already fucked up everything I have going right now and I've had going for however many years, and my kids don't look at me the same, then all bets are off. Like I'm gonna fucking, I used to think like I'm gonna be on the news and everyone's gonna see me and they're gonna know how I died. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go out, and I thought that was like admirable, or like, and really it's not. But like I have to find reasons to live outside of my kids. I know that. My son just told me he started smoking weed. Right. He's 13.
Right.
And I've talked to him endlessly about the dangers of smoking. Right, where it leads. Or he started smoking bud, right? Which I assume he's already been drinking, right? Because it's he doesn't live in a city. He lives in a country area, right? But he told me, I asked him, why would you do that after we've had so many talks, and I've told you like where that leads, and everything, how it started with me that young, all that stuff. And he said it was about the way he felt because he was like getting bullied, and we've been over all this stuff, you know. And I told him like bro, like you're like saying, hi, I'm a drug addict, because that's what drug addicts do. Like they don't like the way they feel. And the first thing they do, rather than try to fix it, is to go get a chemical to feel a different way about themselves. Then they can live with themselves. Then they, you know, and if you're doing it now at 13, like, it's just not a good precedent. I don't think, you know, that drug is bad. I think it's a good drug, honestly. But if you're a drug addict, it's going to take you, you know, it's just a stepping stone. And for him to tell me that, it just like validated that he just didn't listen to anything I said. And I did that too. Like people told me, but like I really thought he was listening. I really thought he was like internalizing it, you know? And I almost thought like he was like saying it so I'd be impressed.
Right.
You know, like it was cool or something. And that's just like, because he was eager to tell me, you know, and I just didn't understand because I'm so disappointed, you know, and like I'm so fearful of going through this with a kid because I've seen so many people get clean and go through that struggle with their kid, and it breaks you. And a lot of times the kid passes away because it's Russian roulette now, you know? And my life can always get worse with that if that starts happening, you know, but like I have to find stuff. When I was talking to him, it was the first time I ever told him, like I said, hey, Luke, I don't enjoy my life. You know, I'm only here and like doing everything I do because I want to make sure you guys are getting your life together and are good people and are taken care of. You know, I was like, I damaged myself so badly that I can't even enjoy a good life. You know, that's how much I've messed my life up. I don't know when I don't feel good when I should. I don't feel bad when I should, you know? And I'm trying to tell him like, that's what you're going to do to yourself. And honestly, you can't handle it. You know, I couldn't handle it. I don't know how I made it through. You know, but like, you really can't handle it. You didn't even have the abuse I had whenever I was young that kind of like got me, you know, prepared for some of it.
At least desensitized to a degree.
Yes.
Which is horrible.
And in that conversation, I told him like I don't enjoy my life, dude. I don't want to be alive. Like if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I know that was probably wrong to say to him, but you know, I know that's wrong, and I have to like, I can't just live like that because it's all gonna affect them. They're gonna know, you know, if there's no joy in your life, like people I think know, they can see there's no fire in you, there's no, you know. So I think I just have to really like, number one, I feel like I've graduated from all this stuff, all the drug stuff, the jail stuff and all that, but I don't feel like I've ever separated from it wholly, like, and like changed my image, you know what I mean? Because like I have a job where like everyone else wears suits and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't do that shit. And I feel like, well, I don't do that because I'm authentic, and you know, but I don't want to be the authentic person I was before. You know what I mean? I want to, you know, adapt and change and like, you know, grow. And, you know, it seems like I'm not, you know, I'm only willing to do so much, you know what I mean? And I have to definitely like change things up and start. Or, you know, I don't want to use drugs again, man. Thankfully, that's not the thing I think of, you know, because like you used to be, anything goes wrong, that's what you want to do, you know.
Right, that's your go-to.
That's the answer. But once you get to a certain point, you realize it's not about that. It's not about the chemical. It's about why you use that shit. And after seeing just so many people die, and then like asking yourself, why am I here? And they're not.
Right.
Well, there probably ain't no reason. It's probably random.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to be like, well,
yeah, it could have been you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my life worth it for them, you know. But I feel like I've represented drugs for so long. I'm so tired of it. You know what I mean? Even with like the writing and the poems and all that stuff. And you know, I think part of everything is me like, you know, graduating away from that in a sense. And like, I think the things like you were saying with TikTok might be a good idea for me because it gets it out there, but it doesn't get my face out there or nothing. You know what I mean? I have no problem with my name. I don't want no one stealing my shit, which has happened a bunch of times, and I've had to deal with that. But like, I do want to share it all from a distance. You know what I mean? And try to inspire other people. But you know, I want to be more than a drug addict.
Right.
You know, and a, you know, a recovering drug addict or whatever. I don't know, man. It's like shit. I don't know. I think you get tired. You get used to being lonely. And then it's like the only way you know how to live, you know? I used to say I'm getting a plant, and I never got it. I'd say I'm going to get a plant, then a dog, then a girlfriend. And I said I was getting a plant like 6 months ago, and people ask me, did you get your plant yet? And I didn't. It's like, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I can't even get a plant because I can't even get it, like, and kill it and then be like, oh, it failed. It's like, I just won't get it. I'll just keep telling everyone I'm going to get it. But I don't know. You know, it works itself out, man. Like I said, my kids have saved my life, so I'll be here for them. But you know, I don't want to like live like this no more. You know, I want to like be someone that, you know, my kids can be proud of. I think they could be proud of me now because I like take care of them, anything they need. But it's like, I'm not inspiring. You know what I mean? I'm not like, you know, I don't know. I'm not like, probably like most of the other people they see, parents, you know, are social and they have,
Right.
you know, like I have friends and everything, but we're all old drug addicts. You know what I mean? There's like we're all jaded, you know, like we were all at the fireworks the other night and it's just like, I don't know, like, it's a different mentality than I see anyone else. And I don't know, I feel like.
I was gonna say, it's funny because I think most of my buddies who have had like I've never had a drug problem, right? Like I've never drank, I've never smoked, I've never done anything like that. Oh, you know, but my buddies who have all done that and then either don't struggle with, either they're still struggling, you know, they get sober, then they, whatever. Like I don't really have anybody that's currently like a functioning, well, I do have a buddy named Travis. He's like a functioning alcoholic.
Right.
He's always kind of, you know, but he'll like not drink all day. Like this is a guy, he got no driver's license.
Right.
Like, you know, he has to hire a full-time guy to drive him around. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
He runs a tree trimming business and he'll be like,
I've heard you talk about
yeah, he'll be sober during the day and he'll go home and he'll drink and then he'll pass out and wake up then. But I mean, he's the kind of guy that can wake up the next morning, boom, he's up. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. It's like, are you serious?
But imagine how effective and stuff he might be without that, right?
Right.
Which is crazy.
But, you know, no friends.
Yeah.
No real friends. You know, no friends. If he goes to the bar, he's going to the bar to get drunk and pick a chick up and come back.
Yeah, purpose.
No real, since you said purpose, no real purpose in life, other than just working to pay bills.
Cycle.
And his big cycle of staying drunk. And then, you know, I have other buddies that are super successful, but had major, like probably had 20 years of their life. Well, how long? Let me think. Yeah, probably close to 20 years of my one buddy's life, maybe 15 to 20 years. I mean, and he was in the military for something like 8 years or something. So there's, you know, they're like professional drunks in the fucking military. Like you can be a professional drunk as long as you can get up and go. Like Travis, you can get drunk you can get drunk all night, pass out. As long as you wake up the next day and function. Functional.
It's not gonna hurt you.
They'll keep you alive. They'll do that the whole time. But I'm saying, once he's got sober. Well, a lot of these guys, once they get sober, and then they do get families, like but no real friends, no active, like it's nothing but work and his family, and there's no. And then I see other people that have like friends, like they, you know, my closest thing to a friend is, you know, probably texting Wade, like that's probably it, like Wade or Dominic. Or in our friendship,
I think you're right that the way you look at it is not really what it is.
No, I text them every other day, once or twice. We send each other reels. We almost never talk on the phone. We almost never. James is probably one of my closer friends, and that consists mostly of texts and reels. We have gone on vacation together, and we'll probably continue to I'd love to go on vacation because I like this guy a lot. When I go to Vegas, I see him. We hang out.
Yeah, I think I know. You know what? I know what my problem is. I'm lying.
I need to join a soccer ball team or something. I need to play soccer or something, or golf.
As long as you're not doing that because you feel like that's what you should be doing.
No, I genuinely like those guys, but I don't have.
It's hard to have the
but I know guys like Colby's got a group of friends. They golf, they talk, they go on. They go to dinner. They make
it a point to do.
Yeah,
things. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have anybody like that.
Me neither.
And I'm not really looking.
Me and my friends were talking about that the other day. Is like we all say like we want to do that, And
Yeah.
but then when it comes to the night, you're like, man, I just feel like staying home. I'm like, but I think the difference is I've just isolated so much. I don't have a partner now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been, me and my ex broke up 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and we, it's been 3 years, but we just kept dragging it out because we tried to be friends. But we really were friends, but we couldn't not be this and friends. You know what I mean? Like if I was ever going to be able to be friends with someone, it would be her. It was impossible. Can't do it.
Well, and then what's going to happen too is that if you become friends, the moment the other person gets a partner and finds out, like it's over.
Yes,
it's
exactly. So, but I think like I've been doing little stuff, dishonest stuff here and there.
Yeah.
Like, making extra money on the side here and that. And I think I can't do that. I think I have to like be all or nothing. You know what I mean? Like you make mistakes that you shouldn't do, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like, just stuff that when you stop getting high and get your life together, you shouldn't be stealing from work.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about years ago, but
Yeah.
but all that stuff, doing that stuff clean has damaged me.
Right.
It's kind of made me very, jaded and cynical. And at the same time, like I really, if you told me my life was going to be where it is right now 10 years ago or even 8 years ago, like you're going to have progressed through this organization from the bottom all the way up to the top, to the program manager, making almost $100,000 a year, like doing this job that, and I got my degree and all that stuff. I did all that stuff during COVID, all that shit. Like it would have been impossible to think of me doing that then, but I did it all. And I didn't get what I thought I should, but I think I did that. I'm diminishing it with the imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? It's like if I can do it, anyone can do it. You know what I mean? But like I worked my ass off, like getting that one shelter to be efficient, and then finding out and then all of them, and they overworked me, but I learned a lot. And the only reason I got the next job, which is just as good, was because of the last job, because of all the connections I made and everything. That's why I mean, like, people just wouldn't believe I feel the way I do. But I think this is something normal, or that a lot of people go through, that they don't talk about in recovery, because you don't feel like you should be going through it. You're in recovery, you got years clean, you're doing mostly everything right. So why do I hate myself? And it's not like I hate myself for what I look and everything. Just sometimes I think I'm a piece of shit, and like, it's hard to, I've been a piece of shit all my life. I never hurted people like intentionally, but the selfishness, like, talking about my family when I was young. Oh my God. Like you couldn't, like my grandma could have been on her deathbed and I would have just wanted to hang out at the park on a normal day, not doing anything different. I wouldn't have said, fuck that. Like that's how selfish I was. And, that I think, you pay for all that if you don't get out of it, I don't know. I don't want to make this a downer interview. I really like, my life is good, and I'm gonna take this as a wake up call a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't have came on here, but like I care about what my kids think about me. Right. And I tell them, like, I'm not ashamed of my past because I've overcome it. You know what I mean? And like, being on here talking about it is proof of that, but like the other day talking about what he's doing now, like, and then telling him how I feel about it, like, it's not, he's not going to listen to anything I ever say if I don't change that. Cause I know it's wrong to feel like that, to be living my life like that and not living for anything but them. You know what I mean? And if I don't do that, I'm basically giving up on them. You know what I mean? Especially now, cause I told them. I think I fucked up doing that. I think I scared them for real.
Right.
But like I've always been real with them. I've always been real with, like, your dad has a fucking fucked up past, because they look you up. They look me up at some point.
Oh yeah, you can't deny, not nowadays.
They I know they look me up, and it's just like, they get older, then they understand more. But I just don't want them. I want them to know that, like, yeah, I struggle. Everyone struggles. But I can, I can do the right things and get out of it the right way, because I love myself, not just because I love you. Because I do think loving yourself is important, and I think I've never cared much about myself, but I think I was raised that way. I think, like, I grew up in a house where you just didn't talk about stuff. You know what I mean? Like you just didn't talk about anything other than superficial stuff, you know? And my kids aren't like that. They want to talk about stuff. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that inclination. Just like racism, my kids don't have, it doesn't even occur to them. And it's because it's getting kicked out of these generations. And I love it. It's great. But, you know, like with like, I grew up not talking. So whenever my son wants to talk about what he's doing, it doesn't feel right to me. And I don't want to do it, but I do it because I know it's healthy. But I'm like, why the fuck do you want to talk about this? You know, like if I was you in your age, I would not want to talk about this at all. I'd be avoiding
deny
it.
all this.
Yeah, and he's texting me like, "Are we going to talk about it?" And I'm like, "What?" But that's this generation. It really is. They like, you know, I don't think it's soft. I just think it's the way they are, and it's healthy. And thank God we're there, because, you know, like my mother, I've forgiven her for that, for the stuff with my stepdad, and it never would have came out. But my last girlfriend and her got close, you know, and at some point my mom said to Stacy, like, "Hey, I don't understand why he's not close to me. He's just always if." Stacy's like, "Well, maybe it's because of this," you know what I mean? And like, I think my mom was like caught off guard and like denied it, and then caught herself and was like, "Well, I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what to say," you know. And I've seen that happen so many times with women, right? And I understand how it can happen. You're a single mother. You're in a bad position. You meet a guy. You think he's a good guy. And
He's also paying the rent.
Yes.
He's paying this, so you think
you don't want to see this stuff either.
You think I need this person to keep a roof over,
right?
You know.
And I've seen it with people that I respect and that I like, that I know are good mothers. So, and then she's tried to make up for it. You know what I mean? Like she's given me a place to stay whenever I was like getting clean again. So I don't want to, you know, I want to be a forgiving person. You know, but that stuff damaged me like deeply, you know. And I seen him years later when I got out of prison. We got out of Gradeford. I was in the best shape of my life. Me and my daughter's mother were at an NA meeting, and I seen him from the back, and I knew it was him just from looking at him. And it's crazy how that stuff works, because I went up to him, and he turned around and seen me, and he stood up, and it was like he was 10 foot tall again. You know what I mean? It was like I was a little kid again for a second. And he's not. He's like, you know, he was older and he was not taking care of himself. So he was and I was like 180 pounds of all muscle, you know, and he stood up and went to give me a hug. "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Don't fucking touch me."
he's probably clueless.
He said, "What's the matter?"
Right.
I said, "Don't ever fucking touch me." I said, "Don't." And there was a guy named Greg that just passed away that was with him, that was his sponsor at the time. And Greg was like trying to like get in between us, you know, didn't know what was going on. And I pushed him, and I said, you're gonna act like you didn't beat the fuck out of me for all those years, a kid? I don't know what you're talking about." And that just fucking, I lost it, because it's like, you're not gonna deny it happened.
Right.
You're not gonna make it seem like I'm crazy, like I made it up. Like you were a fucking sadist, abuser, you know? And obviously he's not going to admit it right there,
right?
You know, but I choked him, you know, tried to get, you know, but it's an NA meeting, so there's a bunch of people around, and my daughter's mother didn't want me doing that shit, but you know, it was worth it to me, you know? Like he died a few years later. He had, he was like cooking meth. He was on the news for he was cooking meth and blew his house up. and then he like the cops chased him into the woods, and he was like all confused from the explosion, and like came out and he was burnt and all this shit. Yeah, he ended up going to jail, but he did a bunch of mortgage fraud too. Like I was telling you, he was creative. I mean, he died. He left my brother a bunch of houses, like a bunch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In a trust, so no one would fuck with him.
Right.
Whatever he did to get them was illegal, you know. And I think he thought putting them in the trust would protect them.
Right.
And it actually did.
Yeah.
Because they tried suing. You know, I helped my brother get some of them out of the trust and sell them stuff. But yeah, he was a piece of shit. But I'm so glad I got that opportunity to see him, because I would have never even thought I would have did that, because I was so scared of him. You know. Right. And then I started like getting a sense of what a pussy he was, though. Whenever I would not give him that reaction, and it would be like almost a 5-year-old not getting a cookie or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, he would want to hurt me, but he couldn't without leaving marks and stuff. You know, I mean, he left marks, but it would get to where he'd be punching me in the face.
Right.
And it's like, you're gonna give me a black eye, it's gonna be a problem for you.
Yeah.
You know it. You know, but thank God that my kids don't have to go through that shit, man. Like being a step parent, I did that a few times. It's not easy, dude. You have real kids, your own kids?
I have a son.
Okay, so you do have kids. It's like people who don't have kids just don't understand. You know, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, but in a way, it took away my own, reason to live. You know, I just put everything on them. They're the reason I live, and that's not right. You know what I mean? That's not a whole person. You know, but they're better than me. That's my goal, is to like have kids that are better than I was.
Right.
You know.
This should be the goal of all parents.
Right.
Right.
Well,
like,
I do feel like I'm a piece of shit inherently, which is what sound like you feel like that, but then you have to work to not be, and that's the best I can probably do. It's probably the best I can do, and I didn't make me, so I'm not, I was our environments, I think, have a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said your dad was like an alcoholic and stuff. I don't know. Do you think that affected you a lot? Like a lot of your personality and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know my dad, like, not being there probably did. But I can see, just the little bit you were telling me.
Yeah.
I can see, like, because that routine you were talking about, like,
Oh, yeah.
You probably don't get anything from him, right? Like any affection, any...
My dad?
Yeah.
No, when you were talking about no affection at all, even my mom, who was, amazing, was
Right.
not an affectionate person.
Yeah, me neither.
She was Norwegian. She used to tell, it's a joke, but it's not a joke. And it was that there was once a Norwegian man that loved his wife so much, he almost told her.
Oh, my God.
I mean, this is like,
Yeah.
it's just, they're just very cold people.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm not sure I ever recall seeing my parents hug
It's so crazy.
or hug us.
The stuff
really.
we talk about in jail, though, she was like so like making
Oh,
sure.
she was a gangster. I'm not saying
Yeah.
she's not a gangster.
Yeah, my mom would
I'm
not
saying
do any of
she's
that.
Not,
Yeah, my mom ain't even visiting. Oh, she would visit if I asked her, but yeah.
like my mom was she was a gangster, but she was, because she was a tough woman.
Right,
She was a tough woman, but she was someone who criticized a lot.
Right,
Where it was like, if I did a painting, it was like, Mom, come look at my painting. I'm finished my painting. She'd walk in, she'd go, I don't like the shadow here. It's
Right.
too dark. There was never any
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, Matt, it's so amazing. It's
Fucks
so,
you up.
Right. So it was
yeah.
never that. It was always this and that. This doesn't look proportionate. Is
Right.
this, where's the, let me see the picture. What is the picture like? Oh no, Matthew, no. I was just like,
Yeah.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
like, what are
yeah,
you talking about,
yeah,
lady?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm just fucking I have this picture. I just painted a fucking.
You're the
6
one
foot by
person that's
4
supposed to say it's great
Right.
no matter what.
But that wasn't her.
Yeah.
Wasn't
No, I
who
hear
she,
you.
and you
Yeah.
get used to it, and you don't think it's a big deal until one day you go to your friend's house,
Right. See
and
what
you're like,
that's
the fuck is going on with your
Right,
mother and
right,
father?
yeah.
How many times can they tell you you're a wonderful fucking child and hug you and kiss you and tell you?
And that feels so gross to you.
Yeah,
but
you're
it's
just
really
like, the fuck is going
it's-
on,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
You're like-
I know my mother had trauma.
Yeah.
I know my mother had abuse and trauma. So I know that she probably did the best she could.
yeah.
And so that's why, like,
I don't doubt my mom
Yeah.
loved me. It was a very different. Listen, they were
right.
they were
she
raised
definitely loves you to do that stuff for you.
Yeah,
you
they
know
were
what I
raised.
mean?
Both my parents were raised during the Depression.
Right.
You know?
Which is, yeah.
And my dad had a horrific childhood.
Right, right,
until
right.
my mom eventually left my grandfather, his father, and remarried. And even then, that guy wasn't that great. Apparently,
Right,
according to my father. Who knows? I never met the guy. So yeah, but he just had a. I mean, we're talking about back when my dad was. Remember, I told you my grandfather. He was he was a butcher.
Oh, yeah.
He was like a professional fucking
Right,
alcoholic.
right.
And so my dad would tell you over and over again. He said, "This is before eviction laws.
Right.
This is where you didn't pay the owner, the landlord comes,
just throws your shit out.
Oh, right.
There's no,
right.
we're not waiting.
Yeah, because now it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. Where now they're fucking, it's taken 2 months to get somebody out who
You get
didn't
one
pay.
piece of mail there, and then you can't throw them out for 6 months.
Right. So my dad said he's like, there was at least a dozen times when he came home from school and all their furniture sitting on the front yard. In the front yard, his mother's like sitting on the couch just crying her eyes out. And he's walking. We're talking about a 5-year-old kid walking home from school, and they don't know where they're staying that night.
Wow.
Like this is over and over. And so his dad had drank all the money,
Right.
lost his job, disappeared for a week. He'd come back in a week or two when he sobered up. He'd apologize, very charismatic, convince her to come back with him. So when my dad was finally like 7 or 8 years old or 9 years old or something, she finally just one day just left him.
Really?
Like one day moved and never talked to him,
Right.
just we're done.
Wow.
And then he ended up dying of cirrhosis of the liver.
Which,
and,
yeah.
And she married somebody else, which
Yeah.
I think he came with a couple other kids. But it was the same thing. It was just so he was raised in a horrific
Yeah,
environment.
my grand, we found money everywhere whenever she died. Like my mom was telling me, because she was depression area. Just
Right.
hide money everywhere.
Yeah.
Like afraid that shit's gonna, disappear or whatever. But yeah, like I think it's getting better with the trauma from generation to generation. Because my kids have some, I'm sure, but it's not as a parent.
Right.
So I don't know. I can feel better about my job as a parent, but I definitely like that. My whole life changed when I stopped being a parent every day.
Right.
Because like I didn't have to think. That was just, I lived life for years, and I would have never thought that was what I wanted, and that was what would fulfill me. Because I didn't think I was good with kids, and I wasn't until I had my own kids. But what's sad about my brother, I told you a lot about my older brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he could never get clean. He could never stay clean. He would get clean for like a year, and he would come to meetings, but he would never do everything. He would do just enough to stay clean for a little bit, always relapsed. So during the epidemic, everyone's dying around, a lot of his best friends, a lot of mine, but he overdosed once, and he would overdose every 3 weeks. Like I overdosed once in my life. Right. And I died, and I had to be Narcan 3 times. The only reason I'm alive is because they were building a gas station at the time. I was in this alley, went down. Dude was in a backhoe, seen me fall, and called an ambulance. They came, Narcan me 3 times. The 3rd time brought me out of it. I was fucking pissed because you wake up sick.
Yeah, you wake up going through withdrawals.
I was gonna, and I'm yelling at them. They just saved my life. And I wish I could tell them thank you, but I think they know what they, But my brother, he would go through this all the time. He would just push it all the time, and he overdosed in my mom's house, and I'd like beaten him up right before then because I came to my mom's, which I did. I was clean at the time. I come there, and my mom, for whatever reason, she's the oldest. She just has a soft spot for him. Just let him walk all over, and like. So he's getting high in the house up in the attic. He's like 30, living up, and I went up there, and he had his needle there and everything. And I'm like, dude, like, go do this somewhere else. Like, stop doing it here. Like, because it hurts both of them. You know what I mean? They want to help them, so they're in denial all the time. But it's like, I know what's going on. So after that, I leave and I call his PO, right? Tell his PO it's on a Friday. You need to come and get him and take him to rehab. Just come and urine test him. It's going to be dirty. He's getting high. He needs help, right? PO, I left a message. He didn't answer, but no response at all from him. He doesn't do anything, apparently. The later on that week, so that was a Friday, so I think by Tuesday or Wednesday, he ODs in the attic. No one knows he's up there. My mom thinks he's out. He's up there for 24 hours straight. Doesn't move at all on one side. Has his eye hung open. You know what I mean? Like this.
Right.
Goes blind in this eye. His retina detaches from no moisture. And then he gets compartment syndrome on this side of his body. So his whole leg swelled up like this. And it's still to this day, it's like an open wound. Like compartment syndrome is whenever you lay on one side constantly and you never let any blood flow, so all your nerves and stuff die or whatever. And so that happened. He had to deal with that, right? You think that'd be enough? No. So, and that compartment syndrome scar is so nasty. My other friend has one too. Same thing happened. So he's blind in one eye, leg messed up. So then, like 3 weeks later, doing more, and then I think he had a bunch of seizures this time, right? Because he's like smoking, doing dope. So he has a bunch of seizures, and then he has a stroke. When he has a stroke, he loses a lot of oxygen to his brain. Like the ambulance come, but they don't like stabilize him fast enough. Now he's never been the same. He has no short-term memory. If he came in here right now and we all said hi to him, and then like, you know, we left the room and came back, he would just think we just came. No short-term memory, like that bad. And no personality. Like one thing about him is he was hilarious.
Right.
He was funny. You know what I mean? Like he never really like would defend himself and stuff. Like I was the younger brother, but I always had to fight his battles, like physically, you know, against older kids and stuff. But he was funny as fuck. You know, he was always funny. And when that happened, he just doesn't have a sense of humor anymore, really. It's gone. It's like drugs. So it's like he's like this dead person walking around, you know. And the ironic thing is my dad, the stuff with my dad was like really affected him. And he just mirrored it exactly. Like did the same exact thing that my dad did. Is like ruined himself with using, ruined his whole personality and his, you know, his brain. And now like, you know, he doesn't even, it doesn't even occur to him to want to get high, I think. You know, he's just like I don't know, like a half person. He just doesn't have the personality anymore. And I thank God that didn't happen to me because it could have. But, you know, it's just rampant everywhere, stuff like that. I wrote this to my mother when I was like 17 in Newcastle, YDC. And this was the first poem I ever wrote where like people read it and were like, wow, it's really, really good. I remember my counselor made me get it notarized right away. And this was like the first one where I really started like just every angle of it. But this is like 100% legit to my life. You know what, Mom? I will never be like my dad. I'm not that kind of person. I could never get that bad. I can already tell, Mom, that drugs just aren't for me. I'll never be like my dad. You just wait and see. I know what I should do now, Mom, since we had that talk today. Instead of trying drugs, I'll just say no and walk away. I really can't believe that Daddy did the things he did. There's no drug in the world that's worth abandoning your own kid. So don't be worried about me, Mom. That's the last thing that I do. I know how much it hurt you. It really hurts me too. I forgot the stuff you taught me, Mom, about the trouble drugs get you in. And I tried alcohol tonight, but just this once to fit in. I'm sorry that I hurt you, Mom, but this is really no big deal. Alcohol won't kill me. It's all those other drugs that will. I'm sorry that I'm late, Mom. I guess I wasn't thinking, but it's not me that smells like alcohol. And no, I wasn't drinking. I'm sorry that I lied, Mom, but you really shouldn't cry. I only drink occasionally. That doesn't mean I'm going to die. Smoking weed and drinking is not as dangerous as you think, and it won't turn me into Daddy. He did way more than smoke and drink. They've locked me in the jail, Mom. Can you please come get me out? All those times you tried to warn me. Now I see what it's about. Thanks for getting me out, Mom. Now I'll leave those drugs alone. But don't leave a light on for me tonight, because I won't be coming home. Why are you kicking me out, Mom? Why do you want me to leave? I'll stop using all these drugs just to make you believe. Why were you in my room, Mom? What were you trying to find? No, that needle doesn't belong to me, and that isn't mine. No, you're not looking at my arms, Mom. Please leave me alone. Who are you trying to call, Mom? Please put down the phone. Okay, I'll go to rehab, Mom. I'll do it just for you. I don't think I have a problem, but it's clear that you do. My treatment time is over, Mom, and I gave it all my best. But drugs are all I think about, and all day I feel depressed. I'm not sure I can do it, Mom, but I guess I have to try. I've already wasted enough of my life chasing drugs and getting high. Please don't cry for me, Mom, because I'm still that same old kid, and I won't turn into my dad. Oh, wait, I guess I already did.